or that or the other thing. Sophie Cunningham is on our side, and she's articulating here. Yeah, they're always saying if you've got the opportunity, if you've got a captive audience, use it for some good. The question remains, though, what is good? That's entirely subjective. That's our poll question for today. Should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy? I really wanted it to be just a yes or no, but I did give you one couched response opportunity to say yes, but not political. So yes, no, or yes, but not when it comes to politics. I think that's subjective as well. I think this is a really compelling conversation to have right now because of Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton was lauded yesterday by Donald Trump, lowering the flags to half-mast for an American icon after the passing of Dolly Parton yesterday at 80 for a week. Those flags will fly at half-mast in her honor. And yesterday at the same time, you have Jane Fonda being, very, very reminiscent and honorable towards the memory of Dolly Parton and everyone in between. I was going through X last night and just kind of reading through whatever the news was. There was a lot of discussion from a lot of people regarding the passing of Dolly Parton. And here's another story that I want to share with you. And I can't verify this, but I will cite it from Dan Bostic's X profile. I'll share here so you can read it along with me if you're watching on the Annie Frey YouTube live stream. But he said Dolly Parton refused the Presidential Medal of Freedom 3 times from both Biden and Trump. The first time Trump offered it, she declined because her husband was sick and she couldn't travel. The second time was because of COVID. The third time, this is where this really becomes interesting. The third time she refused the Presidential Medal of Freedom, she didn't want to appear to be making a political statement by taking it from Biden and not Trump. She refused the Medal of Freedom because the reception of it, when the timing was right for her, the reception of it, and you'll know that her husband did pass away about a year ago, so he had been ill. The reception of taking it from Biden after having turned down Trump for a very reasonable circumstance, that doesn't matter once it gets out into the open. The story gets legs of its own and goes crazy, and both sides rip that story onto their political side of the aisle so that they can score a political point. And Dolly Parton wasn't willing to allow that to happen. The third time she didn't take it, she didn't want to appear to be making a political statement by taking it from Biden and not Trump. Now, is that an endorsement of Donald Trump? No. Like, we can't be caught up doing the same thing that the other folks would be doing in that instance. Dolly Parton, this is interesting to me. I read a post. It was an article. I was going to share the article, and then I'm like, I don't even want to give these people any more attention than they're already begging for. An article in the HuffPost, and it was talking about how Megyn Kelly, who is a very polarizing figure right now on the conservative right, how Megyn Kelly made this. I read the post that Megyn Kelly put up on X regarding Dolly Parton's passing. She just said some really nice things about Dolly Parton, and that was that. And under Megyn Kelly's post were a bunch of people from the left, which is fine. They have the right to speak and be heard. But it was a bunch of people telling Megyn Kelly that she didn't get to talk about Dolly Parton because Dolly Parton was a feminist icon and 9 to 5 is a feminist homage, and all of these things about how Dolly Parton wasn't for Megyn Kelly. What a toxic culture to muddle through day to day. The passing of Dolly Parton, the reception of the news of her death met with mourning and reflection on a life incredibly well lived, and it takes less than 24 hours and people are like, you don't get to talk about her. Says who? Not Dolly. And I'm somebody who take Dolly Parton out of the conversation. I'm somebody who's like, listen, if you have a platform and you want to put something out there, something's on your heart, you've got a compassion for some particular kind of issue, and you want to use that platform as a way to reach people, who am I to tell you not to? However, I'm asking myself how many Dolly Partons we have left. It's like the contagion that is politicization of virtually every aspect of your life. You just really can't. You're never more than 1 or 2 degrees of separation from a really, really hot button issue politically that will divide you. That if you go head first into that topic, whatever it might be, you're just with regular old people, family members, lifelong friends, new friends. There is a kind of a vetting. It reminds me of dogs at a dog park, and everybody's circling and smelling each other's butts to find out who stinks the worst. And then you stay to the other side of the dog park, and we don't play with that dog. It's just to me, it's that stupid. Because your political views are important. They should be rooted deeply into your human values that you derive from some sort of moral agreement and understanding that is based in something that is larger than yourself. For me, it's my Christian faith. For you, you could have a moral fortitude that comes from something other than that. And our morals could be pretty much 90% congruent? The derivative of it maybe being different, but can we both agree that thou shalt not murder? I think that's a commonly secularly and non-secularly agreed upon moral value. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't kill. Don't take what isn't yours, don't envy what isn't yours. I think that these are basic understandings that, while yes, can be rooted in scripture, you can remove scripture from the conversation, and I think normal people go, yeah, I'm pretty down with that. Don't want anyone doing that to me, to go a little Nero on you. So what do we need from these celebrities who have a platform? There are people hurting all over the world. There are injustices all over the world. You've got somebody who has a camera, somebody who has a microphone, somebody who has an audience and a platform, and you go out there one time and say, I just really believe that we need to bring more awareness to fill in the blank. Is it a missed opportunity for those individuals to say, I'm not doing that because I got to get mine? Michael Jordan said Republicans buy shoes too. I honestly believe that what Caitlin Clark is doing in the WNBA is Democrats buy shoes too. And she's there to play basketball. People are mad at Caitlin Clark for not being more aggressive in voicing her thoughts and beliefs on things. I honestly don't want to know any of Caitlin Clark's thoughts and beliefs on anything. That's the God's honest truth. I want to watch her play basketball and think about logo threes. That's what I want to watch. I want to watch her make laser beam passes for assists. Last night she played Dejounte Carrington, the woman who trucked her, assaulted her on the floor. Mm-hmm. Caitlin Clark had 37 points and 10 assists. This was the date yesterday, 8/25, that after Dejounte Carrington got booted from that game for a flagrant 2 for assault on Caitlin Clark, went to the locker room, retweeted the video of the play, said white privilege, got a message from Rapinoe or something, or Rapinoe or whatever her name is, somebody like that on X reached out to her, and she just replied with 8/25. She was like, this is when we get back at each other. And Caitlin Clark went ham on whatever. I don't even know what team that she plays for. I just want Caitlin Clark to be about basketball. I don't want to have to watch her and think about her doing anything other than basketball. I'm wondering if you guys feel the same way. The YouTube poll for today: should celebrities use their platform for advocacy? You can go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@AnnieFrey. Subscribe to us on your YouTube app and vote in the poll. You can text us your thoughts as well. 314-241-9797. Dr. Oz on the Annie Frey Show next. When I talk to you about Bob Kershaw and Tammy Kershaw from the Retirement Advisory Group, I want you to understand these are good, kind people. They're making their living, helping you transition out of making a living into retirement. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. They are experts when it comes to ensuring that that peace of mind is yours to harness when you make the decision to leave your working years and go into retirement years. You've worked hard. You've built a nest egg. You want to make sure you know how to protect it going into retirement. Let the Retirement Advisory Group build you a personalized, structured income plan. They'll show you how much income you're going to have in retirement and also how long your money will last, so you can make that decision with the confidence that you need to enjoy retirement as you have prepared for it. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Reach out to the Retirement Advisory Group and tell them Annie sent you. You can learn more online at retirementkey.com.
Under my most favored nation policy on drug prices, we're delivering the largest prescription drug price cuts in the history of our country by far, with price differences of 400, 500, and even 600%. And the headline in most of the papers this morning was the largest drug price decrease in 65 years.
President Trump touting the success of prescription drug price drops over the last 60 years. This is near unprecedented, and it's been a focus of this president's efforts to make your costs more affordable in those retirement years. But for everybody who has got that monthly expense of these prescription drug prices, President Trump made that commitment, and he's following through on it. Let's get to our guest here. We welcome back to the show Dr. Mehmet Oz, Director of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Dr. Oz, thank you so much for being with us here today. There's a lot to champion with what the administration has been doing to lower prescription drug prices.
Well, the president's enthusiastic about the remarkable drop in prices for these medications. But I want to highlight that when the administration first started, this was a major theme that the president, behind closed doors, was hammering us on. And the basic argument he was making, because he's listening to folks who voted for him, is that 1 in 3 times you go to a drugstore to pick up a medication your doctor told you to get. You paid for an appointment for someone to tell you what you need, and you can't pick up the medication. And the reason for that, which is infuriating, is that we pay 3 times more on average per medication, branded products, than any other country on the planet. And the president said, no mas. We're not going to tolerate that. Just like he's gotten upset about trade inequities and the fact that NATO wasn't well balanced and they weren't paying their fair share. We were picking up the tab. He said the same thing about medications. Why are we allowing global freeloading? And so he asked us, in fact, he demanded that we go and negotiate with every one of the big pharmaceutical companies. And we did that. We knocked on their doors. And you know what? This is amazing. And because this is, again, it shows the wisdom that he has in some of these themes because he's a negotiator. When we got to these guys, they all said, hey, listen, we knew one day that you guys would come knocking, so let's cut a deal. And we did.
Huh.
We cut deals with all the big companies, dropped the prices. I got what is called most favored nation drug pricing, which is what he was talking about in that clip, which means we're not going to pay more in America than you're paying in other countries for the same drugs. Even when they're made in this country, by the way, they charge more here. And that has allowed us to register the largest drop in drug prices ever this year and over the last year, because we try to report them in annual moments. And over the last year, it's the largest drop in 63 years. And back then, 63 years ago, just to give you an idea how big a deal this was, the only reason drug prices dropped that year was because for the first time, the FDA said drug companies had to prove their products worked. Because other than that, they were always increasing. So you realize what a seismic move this is.
Yeah. And I mean, such an important Main Street adaptation for a policy like this, and the efforts made with the administration and these big companies to say, hey, you're gonna do your part here. I've seen in the administration in between the two Trump terms, it seemed as though the pressure was always on the consumer, that there was always an ask on the consumer and the burden was always on the consumer. Consistently, I've seen the president, this isn't your department, but I've seen the president go to the oil companies and be like, hey, what are you doing here? You need to get in here and play ball because the American people deserve it. And for prescription prices as well, it's a non-negotiable for Americans. They've got to pay whatever they're being told to pay. And President Trump shows up and the administration shows up and says to these companies, hey, we need you to work. And you're telling me that they were like, sure, we've been waiting for this. Why Trump? Why did it take Trump?
Well, that's what they're saying. We knew eventually someone would figure it out. I'll tell you what happens. They have strong lobbies.
Yeah.
And they are intimidatingly strong on Capitol Hill. And so when Congress tries to do things, they know how to shut it down. The president doesn't take no for an answer. He also appreciated something really important, that if you negotiate hard with someone, they're going to have to give, but they won't give everything. So you end up with an equation that allows them, the industry, to stay creative, to stay innovative, to allow us to save lives and develop cures while at the same time getting a better value. Here's the evidence for that. Their stock market valuation of these companies, these pharmaceutical behemoths, went up, not down, went up with most favored nation drug pricing, because the industry realized that they're now in a new normal, not as profitable, but acceptably profitable. By the way, all of these prices are on TrumpRx.gov, which is a spectacular site built by Joe Gebbia, Ed Korstein. These are the guys who founded Airbnb, top-tier people President brought in. The site works beautifully as a transparency. And if you're going to buy a drug in America, you really should check the price on TrumpRx first. It's free to check it. And the price will often allow you to go to the pharmacist and say, I want a better price because whatever's available on TrumpRx.gov, I'm allowed to get access to.
Well, Dr. Oz is speaking with us right now, the director of Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. I do want to, in addition to talking about this championing of these lowering prescription drug prices from the Trump administration, I do want to talk about your relentless pursuit to weed out the fraud that exists in our country. It seems like the numbers that we hear from your reports or the other people in the cabinet that are working for this, the numbers are so big and large, and it just to me is like, is this the stuff that's bubbling up to the surface? How deep have you been able to dig right now to root out the people who are taking advantage of the American taxpayer, of the Medicaid and Medicare subscribers? How far into this would you say that your fraud efforts have taken you?
Well, we're doing a root canal, if you're using a dental analogy, although I'm a heart surgeon. You know what happened? During COVID, the government was so sloppy in the way it threw money around that it taught a bunch of lowlifes, grifters, that they could take advantage of the federal government and not get caught. We have drug dealers in Philadelphia who are shifting careers into home care. In fact, that actually happened in a bus we did recently. A guy said he's getting handcuffed, and he told the cop he had to actually log out of his home care job. And the cop said, what are you talking about? I'm arresting you for dealing drugs. And the guy said, yeah, I got a side gig. And the cop said, I'm putting you behind bars. He said, if you do that, you'll have to arrest everybody in Philadelphia because we're all doing it.
Oh, my gosh.
You see this in California where half the hospices in the whole country are in one city, Los Angeles. You see it in New York State where the number one job in the whole state is being a home care attendant. which means you're basically carrying groceries upstairs for your parents. So the fraud is out of control. And it's happening in Florida, too, where you've got durable medical equipment, where you are, Missouri. However, here's the good news. If you're going to get serious about this, you've got to deal with the underlying corruption, because they don't just steal your money with fraud and corruption, they steal your trust. And so we have now gotten to the root cause of a lot of the issues. There are large multinational criminal organizations we're going after. We put moratoria nationally to shut down fraud in durable medical equipment, which is wheelchairs and canes. We've got the same moratorium in hospices, same limitations on home health care. We're doing things to stop the hemorrhaging. And then meanwhile, we're taking action to get to the criminals. That's why all the U.S. attorneys, the president goes after them and says, we want you to really get aggressive. And they have gotten aggressive, are taking major action. But the big secret, the secret sauce, is never let the money leave the building. Yeah. So my agency, which runs Medicare and Medicaid, we cover 170 million Americans. It's the largest by cash. We spend $2 trillion a year. We are not allowing money to leave this building unless we know it's legitimate. We've stopped $42 billion already in the last year from just Medicare. And to put that in context for the average listener, if we can continue this pace, we're going to double the life expectancy of the Medicare Trust Fund, which means if you're worried because you're working your tail off and you're 40 years old, you're not sure Medicare is going to be there for you in 25 years, I'm telling you it's going to be there for you and your kid, because we're going to double the life expectancy. But just taking the fraud out, not raising taxes, just being smart about how we spend the money.
Dr. Oz, this is Ryan, Annie's co-host. I always feel like you bring us such good news that it's exciting to talk to you. But has this fraud always been a problem that's just been exacerbated since COVID? Or have people gotten so bold that they're doing things that nobody's even thought were possible? It's the latter. This is not how it was. We were a high-trust society. When Medicare and Medicaid were created especially, no one stole from the poor. Who does that? Americans don't allow criminals to take money from the most vulnerable. But we've gotten acclimated, normalized to the fraud and the corruption that underlies it. And I'm going to share something else with you that's really important, because it really got bad after Obamacare. We have a system for paying for people's health care that is based on everyone being aligned, like the government, from the president down to the governor to the state senators. They all have to think that this is the right way to do it. What happened within modern ways, and this all got fixed with the One Big Beautiful Bill, is that states realized that they could create jobs by put them on the federal dollar, on the federal taxpayer, and deal with their own internal issues. And that wasn't aligned. That wasn't fair. I'll give you a concrete example. Why is it that the most common job by a factor of 2 in California and New York is home care? That's, again, carrying the groceries upstairs for your parents. Why are we even paying for that? Here's why. The governors in those states say, hey, you know what? Fraud and corruption, that's not a flaw. That's a feature. I can take these people who would be unemployed, put them on the Medicaid program, and the government has to pay me back most of the money. And so I can now create hundreds of thousands of jobs. But it gets worse, because now the unions have gotten to these guys, and they're starting to collect union dues. And they don't give the workers a choice. So now the federal taxpayer is paying union dues in New York and California. And what does that do? That feeds right to their political action committee. So it's political patronage. It's weaponization of fraud, which is why we keep coming back to the same issue. It's not just about stealing money. They're stealing your health. They're stealing your lives. They're stealing your trust. We have to stop it now.
Oh, well, Dr. Oz, we are grateful for your time with us today. Please keep fighting the good fight, and come back to us and update us as you continue to achieve these successes, both with the rooting out fraud and also the championing of the realization that these drug prices are coming down. The best numbers in 60 years. It's commendable. We need to keep going, and I know that the administration is dedicated to it. Dr. Oz, we're very grateful for your time today.
God bless you, Annie. Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
as well. Bye-bye. Dr. Oz, he is the director of Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. You can follow him on X at Dr. Oz CMS. I love being able to talk to them and talk about some of these positive. I don't really believe that prices on anything are going to go down ever. Prescription drug prices, it's like if you can bring the price of gas down, immediate dramatic effect on the everyday American. Prescription drugs, same thing.
I don't want to sound just like Pollyanna, but whenever I go to Walmart anymore, the prices are dropped. And I know that conversation just was had with President Trump, and it's noticeable.
Walmart has made that effort, too. And again, this is really part of a free market system because it is good business sense to have the lowest prices on things. Now, how low do you need to go in order to get that lowest price stamp of approval? Because they're not going to go any lower than what they have to because, of course, they want to make money as well, and they should. If people are willing to pay the prices, then they're going to be willing to charge those prices. But if we become a more business-friendly environment, a more business-friendly country, there are going to be companies that say, well, I'm going to go get this consumer here, and I'm going to corner this consumer off and put my eggs in that basket. And then if people lower prices, then the other people go, well, I guess now we have to do it too. The question is, who will do it first? Walmart has done that. I've seen it myself as well. Great to have Dr. Oz here on the Annie Frey Show. The YouTube live chat poll. Let's get some of your feedback when we return. Should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy? Yes, no, or yes, but not political. Vote on the YouTube live chat poll. YouTube.com/@AnnieFrey. And Text Ryan will feature your texts and comments when we come back. 314-241-9797. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com, 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. I think it matters to when you're shopping, and you've got options, of course, out there for your foundation repair. The basement's got water in it, needs to stop, and you've got to make a phone call. Well, who do you choose? I want to suggest that it's Matt Hayes that you choose at Home Shield Foundation Repair. You are going to meet him, and you're going to be like, I feel like I know this guy. You are going to relate to him, and he is going to understand how to solve your problem. 314-271-9900. For that basement waterproofing, he is going to come inspect your basement, explain to you exactly how he can fix it. And if you choose to go with him, you're going to have the opportunity for 0% financing for up to 24 months, including a lifetime warranty on the fine work that Home Shield Foundation Repair will commit to doing on your home, your foundation, in your basement. Call 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. Find them online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
If you are just tuning in and you missed our conversation with Dr. Oz from the director of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, that was a great interview, and you can get it by going to the Odyssey app, and we will have it on the podcast as well. The YouTube live chat poll today is, should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy? The answers are yes, or no, or yes, but not political. Let us know which one is you. And, of course, you can text in anytime at 314-241-9797 with your answer and or comments, which we will get to shortly. 12:36. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Center.org, I believe is the website. And it's a wonderful organization, and they help give aid, legal aid, and money to children whose parents have been deported unfairly. To me, it's not even a political thing, it's just these kids need help, and they're like,
So that's really hard to hear, but Casey Musgraves on stage taking time in her concert to ask people to donate. Now, I've been at concerts. I was at a Need to Breathe concert, and they put up a QR code. They play a very heart-tugging song, and I don't remember what their cause was. Do you know it?
Compassion, probably. Compassion International.
I don't think it was, because it usually is.
It usually is, yeah.
It usually is. I don't know that it was. It might have been, but this was a few years ago. But I'm up there. I'm sitting there. Love Need to Breathe. Huge fan of their music and their story. And I'm watching them talk about this, and I'm like, okay, all right. And I'm just over here like Googling. And I'm pretty sure I ended up donating. I don't think it was compassion. I'm going to look it up and find out what it was. But they made a whole boatload of money that night because they stood on the stage and said, and it was something had to do with children, I think. They just made a plea, and it got me, and I'm about as skeptical as it gets. People, I'm the person who will be at a checkout, and they're like, would you like to round up? I'm like, I need to see your tax documents, which is so obnoxious, but I'm not just, would you like to help the kids in the local community? Well, how?
Yeah, tell me. Can you tell me a little bit more? And they're like, no.
If your employees can't
know.
tell me if it's the Red Cross, I mean, like, listen, I know people who can find things wrong with the Red Cross, but I'm probably going to donate to the Red Cross if it's 30 cents. In fact, I think was it the Red Cross? I was at Lowe's this weekend. We were just, it was a Lowe's weekend. Let's just put it that way. And we were in and out, and we checked out, and we forgot to pay for the paint trays that we had put on the bottom of our cart, and I was loading stuff in. I said to my daughter, I'm like, did you scan these? She's like, no. And I'm like, well, we got to go back in and pay. So I rounded up twice. What's two?
Wow.
And the first one was like 18 cents, and the other one was like 80 cents.
Oh, wow. That's almost $1.
Almost. But a lot of times I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. They're particular, if I know enough about a charity that supports something where some of those dollars come in, especially if it's like something that might be helping women, but it's also helping, navigating into Planned Parenthood. I'm not doing it. If that industry, maybe they're doing a lot of good work, but if you're also helping Planned Parenthood, there are other ways that I can help that industry without helping Planned Parenthood. I'm just not doing it. But when Need to Breathe does it, and I'm going to find out what the cause is here in a second. When Need to Breathe does it, I'm like, oh, I'm glad I knew about this opportunity. Here's $25 or something like that. Casey Musgraves is on the stage. Like, and see, I'm judging all of these particular, like, I think I'm like, well, the Need to Breathe audience is probably a more well-educated audience than the Casey Musgraves audience. But that's not fair. That doesn't have anything to do with her right to be able to say, you should help this cause. She's asking for funds to provide legal aid to parents of children who have been deported, in her words, unfairly. Well, unfair based on what?
Wait a minute. Parents of children?
Parents who have been deported.
Oh, parents who've been deported. Okay.
providing them legal aid for parents who have been deported unfairly.
So you're talking about people who may have abused our birthright citizenship clause, had a baby here, and then got deported, and we're like, well, but the baby's got
I'm going to tell you right
citizenship.
now, nobody's going that deep. To me,
She
this
didn't
is like, hey, help fellow kids.
Right.
Look, hey, I like kids most of the time. On the whole, they're decent. Here's $20. Do I feel like Casey Musgrave should not be doing that? I don't know that I have the right to tell her what to do with her platform, because if she wants to do that and she wants to wreck her platform by risking something that she feels deeply about, then she has the right to do that. She also has the right to be uneducated, to talk about it in an uneducated way, to make money that's going to help support this legal fund, as long as it's a legal fund. She has the right to do all of that and still be stupid about it. Like, we do not have the right to not be infiltrated or accosted by other people's ignorance.
I've made my mind up. I'm never going to see another Casey Musgraves concert.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Next-
I like Casey. She's like a country hippie. She sings about smoking weed and stuff like that.
I
And
literally
her music
don't
is
even
catchy.
know that. Is it stuff that if I heard it, I'd go, okay, I know who that is?
There's a song, it's Follow Your Arrow, wherever it points, which is just like the most liberal thing. Advice. It's like, follow your heart. And I'm like, your heart's going to screw you over a lot. You can't.
So Follow Your Arrow would be the biggest song?
No, I don't know.
Casey Musgraves songs.
Welcome to the segment where we just Google things. You got any reaction on? Oh, that's great. Casey Musgraves will be in St. Louis September 12th. That's coming up.
Not going now.
You can.
And I was going to.
I mean, I don't know.
To find out what she sings.
She's very talented. So I just Googled Casey Musgraves. The questions that it suggests are, what was Casey Musgraves' controversial song? And it says, Follow Your Arrow from her 2013 debut album. One of the lyrics is, kiss lots of boys or kiss lots of girls if that's something you're into. Roll up a joint or don't. She's basically saying, like, do whatever you want to do. Follow your arrow.
Hedonism.
Well, it's not like she's opening
She
for Need
should
to
just
Breathe.
called the song that.
I mean, I think that if we wanted to take a moment and go through all secular music, the amount that wouldn't at some point fall into hedonism, it's a teeny tiny amount. I don't think you can. I don't think you could be like, Casey Musgraves is the worst of them. Like I said, her music is still catchy.
Right. I'm just learning about it. Songs like High Horse from 2018 and Space Cowboy.
Radio backlash. Casey Musgraves, conservative country radio programmers largely avoided or banned the track for being too, quote, progressive or racy.
Man, they are.
I didn't
bigots.
listen to Casey Musgraves' song and be like, you know what? Casey doesn't care if I roll up a joint. I might give that a try. Now, you might, if you're a kid, maybe you would. So if it normalizes things, I mean, I'm old and really stuck in my ways, and I've been old in spirit and stuck in my ways since I was about 10. So I might be the outlier.
Just
here.
the idea that first you had all this weed.
It's like,
and
I
second,
can't.
you're like, what does Casey Musgraves think about my stash? Let me see. What's her most favorite song? Oh, Follow Your Arrow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Text 314-241-9797 real quick before we get to a break here. I know Brad's got some YouTube comments as well.
A lot of people just saying things like, no, just be a ball player. That's from the 573. That would be Central Missouri.
Hi.
Also, let's see. A lot of people like saying that this will hurt sports and hurt people's images.
If they go into it?
Well, yes, because then so a couple people independently have brought in companies that used people that did this and how the company suffered afterwards, like Bud Light, of course, losing a lot of market cap, person saying. This person says, absolutely not. They get paid to play ball. Why does this make their opinion about anything more relevant than mine? In my humble opinion, shut up. And play ball.
I mean, it affects the way you consume their products or services or whatever, performances.
Here, I like this. It says, advocate all you want. I learned who to boycott that way. Yes, that's the free market. And that's kind of where I would land on this without giving away too much about my answer.
Real quick, YouTube chat.
Yeah, Judah says, no, I'm finding out that I dislike all of my celebrity favorites, so I'm going with no now. I just think you're an idiot. And then Joe says, hell no, celebrities shouldn't advocate. I was angry at Jerry Lewis my entire childhood.
I'm so sorry you endured that.
Jerry Lewis.
Oh, man. One World Health provides affordable, sustainable, and accessible medical care to people living in East Africa and Central America. I think that according to my research here, that is who they raise. For Others is the name of it, which educates the nation about the crisis in the foster care system in the United States. That's why it got me. I was thinking it had to do with adoption.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. You start talking about fostering and adoption, and I'm like, here's my money.
It doesn't surprise me that Need to Breathe, of all the artists, because I worked in Christian music, they were so independent of everybody else.
They kind of were like
They do
Christian,
their own thing.
but
Yep.
secularly acceptable at a time where there wasn't a lot of mainstream Christian.
Right, and they actually had a lot of success with that because they opened for Taylor Swift at one point.
I
And
love them.
they've done a lot, so it doesn't surprise me that they would pick some random charity and be like, that's ours.
Because I go to like a Michael W. Smith concert expecting a compassion pitch.
Yeah,
Which, I'm not
all
saying
the time.
anything about that, but I just foster
Uh-huh.
kids. Yeah. Need to Breathe is my favorite band of all
Really?
times. Yes. Wiggins America, Emotionally Healthy Daily Habits. Says you?
Says psychologists.
So
Quote unquote
you?
psychologists.
We'll hit that when we come back. Don't go away.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
Yeah, cut up that song. Thank you very much. Sometimes we let it play and we enjoy it. Not this time.
No, get to work, man.
All right. These are the most emotionally healthy daily habits you can participate
I
in,
wonder if I do any of them.
ranked by psychologists. First one, reading books.
Nope.
You can't just read online. It doesn't count.
No, I read a ton, and they are not books.
It doesn't say whether it counts whether you're listening to an audiobook, because I know you do that sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I don't really care what they think about that because that's the only way I'm going to read. I'm trying very hard to get into, That is I just watched a catastrophic Nepal flooding right behind you, and that's crazy. Sorry, sidebar. If I'm going to put myself in a place where I'm going to learn from a book, like that's my problem. Is it a problem? I don't know. I'm not trying to be entertained by a book. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to get out of the politics and the history. It's more like life or parenting or marriage or that type of a thing. And I've been doing it more, and I think it's good. But I would never open a book and read it. I'd fall asleep immediately.
What about reading a book like The Hunger Games? Are you just trying to learn?
Absolutely, yes. I think I'd probably be good.
You don't read fiction at all, though, do you?
No.
It's time you start.
None.
Because you want to be
I don't know any
healthy.
fiction books. I've never heard of any.
If you want to read a good fiction book, we got, 6-7 minutes here? Man, there is a really good one called, what is it? The Life of Human.
Who wrote that?
Who wrote that, Brad?
Ryan.
Just Google it.
Ryan Wiggins?
Ryan Wiggins.
People can buy your book online. Just say it.
People can buy my book online.
Where?
Amazon.
All right, this is not part of an emotionally healthy daily habit for me. So
It would be if you read the book.
Free plug. I'm not reading your book, but
It
other
is
people
a good
can.
book.
I'm not going to stop people from other people from doing
You didn't
it.
stop Brad, and he is emotionally
is a good
healthy.
book.
I tried really hard. I said, "Don't do it."
I know
He's
you
like,
did.
I'm doing this.
I was there, and I was very offended. Also, I was hiding, so you didn't know I was there.
I mean, he paid me, so.
I was hiding in a trash can. I was
Read the
dressed
next
like
one.
Trash.
Get off the exit ramp. We're moving on.
Okay. Practice gratitude and mindfulness.
Okay. Gratitude, yes.
But not mindfulness?
I don't know. I don't like hippie mindfulness. I pray. Is mindfulness different than prayer?
You'll have to understand this is a secular list.
Well, I understand that. But people will talk about meditation. And when people talk about meditation, I just say, yeah, prayer. For me,
Yeah.
meditation is prayer. Like prayer is a smaller circle in the bigger circle of meditation.
Yes.
I don't even really know like how one would meditate, but I do know how to pray. And so when I get in a doom loop in my head about something, I start having that doom loop with God.
Mm-hmm.
And it's helpful. Doesn't mean that the thing that's spinning in my mind necessarily stops or immediately gets fixed. It's not a magic wand. But I had a pastor years ago who told us, you pray and you pray the same way. You've probably been praying the same way for decades. It's always like you don't. I talked about this with Max Licato a little bit when he was on the show a few weeks ago. But that pastor said, don't limit your prayers. If you want something from God, God says, ask. Literally, scripture says, ask. And so if he's like, there's nothing too big. If you say, bring unfettered, in totality healing to this person, if that's what you want, you should pray that prayer. You shouldn't feel like, wow, that's a ridiculous thing to pray about. I'll just pray for comfort and understand. No, he's like, if you want that, if that's in your heart, you should hand that over to God and say, this is what I want. And he might say, I get it. This is how it's going to go. And it might not look like your plan, but you should take that and give it to God and not, because that's what I would always do. I always tried to, you know how when you have guests over at your house and you fake clean, you know how you start putting things in places that you'll find
Under
the
the
next
couch.
time just hide it. People need to know, not understand that we live here.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I would pray, which is just this really neat and tidy prayer. And that's not how God wants you to come to him. That's a really self-centered way to pray.
I really, really like that message.
It's
a very important one.
Impactful
because you get in ruts where you're just like, oh, I'm just going to kind of ask that so-and-so gets something. And it just becomes kind of light and L-I-T-E, light.
Yes.
And that was one of the first lessons I learned as a Christian was how to pray, but also because it says ask and you will receive. Well, if you just take that at its face, you go, well, why didn't I get it? Well, because a lot of times you're not asking in the will of God, but ask anyway.
Yeah.
And then he can say no, but you still are asking, and he loves hearing from you. So
yes,
to direct
nurture
where you're
the
going.
relationship.
Exactly.
But when it comes to meditation, I want people who hear that and are Christians to understand how meditation is a good thing, but to channel it in that way, that's how I do it.
Not on yourself.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm pretty useless. I'm not going to get anywhere doing that.
So this is a secular list, but I'll try to Christianize it for us.
Jesus.
Spending time outside
Yeah.
with creation,
Vitamin D.
as made through the Lord Jesus Christ.
Which part was yours?
The end of that?
Vitamin D, go out and be in the sun, sit on your back porch, go for a stroll, not a walk or a jog. Go for a stroll. Don't be in a hurry. Go be outside.
Essentially, touch grass.
Yeah, that too.
Last one before we run out of time here. Just connecting with others and making sure that you're not being alone. You know, just talking with people, even if you are kind of an introvert, which I surprisingly am, but it reduces your stress to just be with people.
Let's dip back into this here later in the show, because I have a story here that I've been holding on to, and it fits very much so into this, and we'll discuss how we practice some of these things, or maybe, you know, some of these things. I think if you're thinking about yourself and the close relationships you're in, you're thinking, gosh, I really wish this person would, you know, when it talks about like talk to people, be connected to people, I really wish my spouse would grab a hold of this. So we'll discuss this a little bit more when we come back in the next hour. Deroy Murdock and Margot Cleveland. Don't go away.
Meta surprise. I'm Therese Crowley, Fox News. Meta agrees to a massive settlement in the social media addiction lawsuit to pay out $17 billion to states and enact new laws and limits for teen users. Fox's Claudia
Under the
Cohen.
terms of the settlement over the next 10 years, Meta will pay up to $17 billion to the coalition of states that sued the social media giant. It will also have to make big changes to how Facebook and Instagram operate for minors and make stronger efforts to flag harmful content and remove users under 13. Provided the court approves the deal, California alone will receive up to $2 billion. California Attorney General Rob Bonta saying, quote, "Today we have secured a settlement with Meta that will make social media less dangerous for our kids and make a world of difference for children and their families."
Meta admits no wrongdoing or liability. This same day as the passing of America's national treasure, Dolly Parton, we learn the great English star of stage, film, and TV, Tim Curry, also died, age 80. Of course, you know him from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
So, come up to the lab and see what's on the slab. I see you shiver with anticipation.
Clip courtesy of 20th Century Fox. Tim Curry, memorable in Home Alone 2 as well. His manager says he died peacefully at his Toluca Lake, California home. And we learned Dolly Parton spent her final days battling cancer.
As tributes continue to pour in for beloved entertainer Dolly Parton, it's now known that she had dealt with cancer prior to her death on Tuesday. A representative for Parton said she had been admitted to the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center in Nashville on Friday. Additional details about her illness were not given, and it's not clear when she received that diagnosis.
And that's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil, one simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to metamucil.com for more details.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
And there were debates at the time about how much Leninism do we want to let into DSA. And these people they eroded any resistance and any core of anti-communism that remained within DSA. Anti-communism became forbidden, right? This is a big evil thing to be an anti-communist. And you can't do this. You can't hold this view without running all the old people who experienced the 20th century out of the organization. And I think that had to have been part of the calculus, that they didn't want any internal resistance. And so there were instances where people were, I think, the efforts were made to silence people.
So there you're listening to Jake Altman. He's a former member of the Democratic Socialists of America, the people who are currently taking over the Democrat Party. You do see some Democrats there actually trying to push back and say, no, this isn't what the Democratic Party is going to be. But I don't know. Maybe it's too late for him. Let's get to our guest. Deroy Murdock joins us, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, Fox News contributor, and your latest piece at the Daily Signal, DSA, our goal is communism. You listen to that man right there, and he says there's no longer room in the DSA to be anti-communism.
Yeah, it sure looks that way, and it's good to talk to you. And, this is disturbing stuff. Yeah, this is a quote I have at the top of this piece in the Daily Signal. It's from David Jenkins. He's a member of the Democrat Socialists of America's National Political Committee, which I guess you might say is kind of like their Politburo, the folks who make the big decisions as to where they go and what their political activities will be. And he's very direct in a statement in 2023. He said, quote, "Our goal is communism," unquote. It doesn't get much more direct than that. And you've got other members of this National Political Committee, again, the top leadership of the DSA, and they're very, I give them credit for this, they're very open and direct about what they want. They're not hiding or dancing from it, dancing around and hiding from their statements. We've got this woman named Frances Gill. She's part of the National Political Committee. She says, quote, "We have a unique responsibility to act from the heart of empire, the belly of the beast. The most important thing that we can do is take the empire down from within." Hazel Williams, she's also on the DSA's National Political Committee, quote, "U.S. imperialism is not a thing that can be reformed away. It has to be overthrown through revolutionary struggle," unquote. So they're very direct about this. And you look at their platform called Workers Deserve More, and you go through this thing, and it's just about 32-hour work week with full pay and benefits and a living wage, guaranteed universal health care at no cost to individuals. Housing is a human right. There should be publicly owned social housing. Demilitarize the police departments, disempower police unions, and redirect funding to public services as steps toward fully abolishing the police and prison system. And on it goes. I mean, every crazy left-wing idea you can think of, and some of you probably not thought of. There's some new ideas here I'd never seen before. Make sure every green card holder gets the vote, for example. That's kind of new. Crazy left-wing stuff, and it's a lot of this stuff is, far left, and some of this stuff goes from far left into what I would describe as just full-blown communism. So this is essentially, the DSA is essentially the Communist Party of the USA with a new banner, a new sign up front. Other than that, there's not much difference, really.
I think that it's important, especially for Republicans who are historically looking at losing the majority in the midterms coming up. But I think what the Democrats are coalescing around gives the Republicans, along with redistricting, an opportunity not to have a catastrophic midterm blue wave. But we do, as a country, as a political party on the right, we do need to determine why this would look appetizing to part of the electorate. What is it that this DSA, the socialists now running the Democrat Party, what is it that they're offering that solves a problem for people who vote? And what do we have to offer instead? And I'm wondering how you would answer that question, Deroy.
Well, that's a very good question. Look, I think that the DSA appeals to a couple things. One is a very strong, very powerful human emotion, which is envy. And there are a lot of people who look at somebody else's success and they'll say, wow, that's great, congratulations, great work, keep it up. They look at someone who succeeded in business or medicine or whatever. Why are you making money? Why are you living in that big house? Why are you driving that nice car? Who did you rob or steal from to get that money? If you're doing that well, obviously you must have taken it from somebody. There's a lot of that sentiment, unfortunately, part of human nature, and they appeal to that. And another big part of it is free stuff, free health care, free education. You get to work 32 hours a week but get paid for 40. Free family leave. Apparently Mandami, who's another DSA guy, my mayor in New York City, if your pet is sick, if your goldfish isn't doing well, you're going to be able to take the day off. That's the next thing they're pushing now. And, basically a lot of reward for not much effort, and people like that. They like the free stuff, and the GOP usually says, all right, we'll give you the opportunity to work hard for what you want to do to make your life better and life better for your family, friends, and loved ones. Or you can sit back and relax, and we're just going to deliver to you. And a lot of people think, you know what, I like the sit back and relax model. And a lot of that is what the DSA and the super far left and socialists and communists are offering. And a lot of people like that. So what the GOP has got to do is talk about, among other things, what they have done already with the One Big Beautiful Bill, which is passed by the Republican Congress, signed by President Trump. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security benefits for a lot of seniors. The fact that even though the economy is not quite where we want it, we do see an increase in manufacturing. There's some talk about the fourth quarter growth being up at 3 or 4%, according to the Atlanta Federal Reserve. So there are a lot of positives. I think we all want to see the Iran war wrapped up and have energy prices come back down to earth. That would be a big help.
Yes.
But there are a lot of positives that the GOP ought to talk about, things that they do want to do in terms of school choice, in terms of a greater economic growth, tax reduction, deregulation. They ought to be talking about those sorts of things, and they ought to get out there and do it. I think we'd be hearing a lot more about it if they weren't the House weren't on vacation and the Senate on a 5-week vacation. I've complained about that and the fact that there's a lot of work that they need to be doing and they're not because they're on extended breaks. That sure doesn't help. But there are a lot of positives that GOP ought to be talking about, and then again pointing out the negatives of a Democrat Party. This is not the JFK Democrat Party or the Bill Clinton Democrat Party. It's barely even the Obama Democrat Party. This is a party that looks more like the party of Karl Marx and V.I. Lenin and Joseph Stalin than it looks anything like the party of JFK or FDR or Harry Truman.
Oh, Deroy Murdock speaking with us right now. I think that the United States of America, because of the system that we're built on and that we've thrived on, that these young people have lived in such opulence as Americans, winning the genetic lottery to be able to be born into this country. They feel and look around and see how much wealth exists here that they just think it kind of is. It didn't get created. It's not something that is worked on and manufactured. They just think it is. So there's enough to go around for everyone. This is something that will become very perilous to a generation who hasn't seen it in practice. I'm 42 myself, and I've heard a lot about the Soviet Union and different areas where this was really tried to be implemented. But I don't think young people, they've only learned about it. They've never seen it with their own eyes. I think that makes a big difference.
Well, if you're lucky, they've learned about it. I mean, a lot of kids don't learn much of anything.
That's true.
We see in New York City right now, New York City, we're spending $40,000 per pupil. And at the same time, the number of kids who can read at grade level in I think every category, every third grade, fourth grade, eighth grade, et cetera, they're all below 50%. They're all in the 40s. So in other words, more than 50%, 52, 53, 54% of kids are not reading at grade level. So we're not teaching them how to read. So why would he be teaching them about the history of communism and how communism subjugated Eastern Europe for the better part of 75 years, in the Soviet Union, the better part of about 45 years after World War II, and how people suffered from there, how Mao Zedong in China killed 60 million people. Joseph Stalin killed something over in the range of about 50 million people. I mean, compared to those guys, if genocide were Olympic sport, Mao would get the gold, Stalin would get the silver, and Adolf Hitler would just get the bronze. And we don't talk about that very much. And that this isn't just a dumb set of ideas that lead people to be poor and suffer. This is a set of ideas that have led people to be killed by a score of about 100 million as you go around the world when communism ran rampant through the 20th century. But I think a lot of young people don't know about this. We barely teach American history. We don't teach much Soviet or Chinese history or anything like that. So when people say, hey, sit back and relax, we're going to give you free stuff and we're going to tell you how to live your lives, think, okay, that sounds comfortable. That sounds better than what I got going now. Not knowing that these are kind of ideas that lead at best to poverty, at worst to genocide.
Deroy Murdock speaking with us right now, nationally syndicated columnist. His latest piece, DSA, Our Goal is Communism, dailysignal.com. Do you believe that the Republican Party, the people who help work with the grassroots and those, trying to make sure that we retain the Senate, retain the House, do you think that the people who have the power to influence these types of elections with money and donations, do they understand how close we are to these socialists getting real access to power?
I think increasingly so. I did a piece about Hassan Piker for the American Spectator last week, and a number of people said, look, we knew this guy was bad, but until they read these quotes that he had about a lot of violent stuff, super pro-communist things, saying positive things about the Soviet Union, positive comments about Mao Zedong, again, who killed 60 million of his own people. A lot of them said, gee, we knew it was bad. We didn't know it was that bad. So it's very important for people to get fully educated on how terrible these ideas are, how awful this agenda is that these people are pushing, and that this isn't just people, as I've said, liberals in a big hurry. These are radicals. These are hardcore Marxists. These are people who look at someone like Vladimir Ilyich Lenin and think, you know what, he had some good ideas. Let's try that here. So this isn't just, taxes go up a little bit. We're going to have a little more regulation. These are people who want to take this country, turn it upside down. They say they want to abolish the Constitution and start from scratch. And they're not going to be starting from scratch while reading The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. They'll be starting from scratch while reading the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. So this is very dangerous stuff. I'm going to guess this is probably the biggest threat from the communist left that we've had in this country since the 1950s and since the efforts by the Soviet Union to engage in sabotage and subterfuge against the U.S. back in the 50s, 60s, when they had people running around this country trying to infiltrate all of our institutions. The infiltration's done. They're in here. They've arrived, and these people have to be fought very hard from the top of this country to the bottom, and put these people back into the faculty lounges or fully out of power from whatever positions they hold. There's a dangerous and potentially deadly ideology, and yes, we have to be eternally vigilant and immediately vigilant against the DSA and the kind of ideas that it's spreading, which are dangerous, if not deadly, for this country.
Well, I encourage people to read your piece in the Daily Signal and for you to continue to use that bullhorn that you have to draw attention to it, because it does need to be talked about. We do need to expose it, and they need to answer for it. Hopefully in come November, our country won't have to learn it the hard way.
Hopefully. Hope you're right.
Amen. All right, Deroy, thank you for being with us today. It's always good to speak with you.
Annie, great to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Deroy Murdock, of course, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, Fox News contributor, on with us to talk about the Democratic Socialists of America. They're socialists. They're not Democrats. They're socialists. The real question is, what do the Democrats want to do with the socialist incursion into their party? And we are waiting to see what that's going to look like. So the YouTube poll for today: should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy? There is a huge country star out right now that is just in the comment sections on the posts that I'm seeing it. They're saying this person just Dixie chicked himself. Who is it? What did he say? I'm going to play that clip for you here on the Annie Frey Show when we come back. He's a big one, too. We'll be right back. Home Shield Foundation Repair. You find them at 314-271-9900. Call them, invite them to your home, invite them to work. If you've got church or community building or someplace you volunteer at that you know needs that foundation looked at and assessed, Matt Hayes, he's the guy to come give you that estimate, that free estimate to fix, finally repair for good the foundation of your home. It's something as small as cracked concrete that is shifted over time. Of course, you're going to have a little settling, and then it's going to create a safety liability, a trip hazard for you there. Might want to get that fixed. They can use polyjacking, polyurethane foam that gets injected under the concrete and raised up, leveled it out with a 5-year warranty. Something as simple as that, done in a day. Or the big kahuna, having to get that basement waterproofed. Maybe a crack in your wall has exposed that you've got some foundation settling as well, and you need to have a peering service done. They go above and beyond. They over-deliver on results to make sure that you are another Home Shield Foundation Repair satisfied customer. So what do? Well, you call them at 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900, and talk to them about what your job is, what you're looking for, and have them come out and give it a look. Online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com. So we have a YouTube poll up right now. Should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy? Yes, no, or yes, but not political. Is there anybody off the top of your head, Ryan, that went political and it just super bummed you out? Can you think of anybody off the top of your head that I was like, I didn't know? And then you go, gosh, and then it just lingers. To quote Shawshank Redemption, like a fart in the wind.
Yeah, I will say there's one person that, and he didn't do it in a big, loud, look at me way, but I always considered him to be somebody who was above that. He was like, oh no, I'm going to sell shoes to Republicans too. It's the kind of guy. Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd campaigned for Kamala Harris. He didn't do it.
What a bad decision.
In a big way. He went to something with Will Ferrell.
Uh-huh.
And I think he just walked along lines at a Kamala Harris event or something, handed out waters or something like that.
That doesn't even bother me.
Well, it only did because he doesn't do that stuff.
Yeah.
And I like that he doesn't. I don't need him to be a Republican. I just like that he's an entertainer. He seems to stay out of the fray.
He's entitled to an opinion, though.
I didn't say he wasn't, but
yeah, I'm just adding to the context where it's like you do have to. We have this luxury of our job being to barf political opinions all over your afternoon. Sorry.
Yeah, we're not hiding.
We try to not do it the whole time because I don't want to do that for 3 hours a day. And I love a lot of people who completely disagree with everything I say, and there are more important things than the political opinions. It's like, but I am entitled to mine also. And I'm tired of being the person who, because you're conservative, you got to kind of keep some of that stuff on the down low. Mm-hmm. I've got a great Patricia Heaton clip to play for you here in a little bit. But first, did you see Jelly Roll?
No.
Of all people, you would not suspect Jelly Roll to say this when he filled in for Jimmy Kimmel in his opening monologue.
Well, Mr. President, from one fat pig to another, take it from me that physical fitness is very important. And trust me, you'll be happy to see your penis again. I do speak from a little bit of experience here, y'all. The first time I seen mine recently, I was surprised at how cute it was. It kind of looked like a little Labubu doll.
So you've got him up here.
You should not laugh that hard at my penis.
This is what Jelly Roll does with his opportunity to speak to America hosting Jimmy Kimmel is to call Trump a fat pig. There might have been more to his monologue. I only saw the clip of it. The clip of it is enough to make me go, why did you do that? So a lot of the comments, that was a the interesting part about this was that was a TMZ clip that I found. So I was like, TMZ, huh? That's not a political outlet. That's not Fox News or Breitbart or, some right-wing outlet being like, shame on Jelly Roll, boycott Jelly Roll. This was TMZ saying, well, Jelly Roll made a choice here. And comment after comment after comment was like, what are you doing? Like, say goodbye to half of your audience. So the question that we're asking on the YouTube poll is, should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy? Does it matter to me what Jelly Roll thinks of President Trump? If I don't know it, I'm not looking for it. Once he says it, it is a factor. It might not be the only factor. I'm not a huge Jelly Roll fan, just from the jump. But now when I hear him singing, I'm going to be like, oh, he made that joke about Trump. It's just part of the fabric of his existence now. And I just don't know why that man would do it.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to anything Jelly Roll's doing before this or after this, but that joke was it was actually just kind of lame.
It's just mean. It's not even funny.
No, and it was probably supposed to be semi-self-deprecating, except that it's not because he's lost a lot of weight, so he's really just bragging.
Isn't it weird that you'd have somebody who has been wildly overweight making fun of other people for their weight?
Yeah,
he's not skinny.
It was like he was trying to do shock humor by saying penis and Labubu doll penis and stuff, and it was like, dude, this is a team of writers who gave you some lines, and it doesn't feel like they came from you.
And that was the other thing I was going to add. How often, especially when it comes to anti-Trump stuff, like I feel like if someone's going to come out and say something in a positive way about Donald Trump, they've thought long and hard about it, and they tried to talk themselves out of saying it, but they couldn't hold it in any longer.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like, gosh, especially within 6-10 years ago, someone's like, you need to go out there and at least wink at the people who hate Trump.
That's felt like what he was doing. But he's a country star.
I'm pretty sure that Jelly Roll was at, I said that weird, Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll.
Got it.
I think he was at the fight.
Oh, was he?
I think so. He got crap for that. I almost feel like this was an atonement.
Yeah. That's
so that
what it
everybody
looked
gets
like.
a little bit of a piece of like, oh, but he did say this on Kimmel, so maybe he's trying to get whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying, you didn't have to do it. He didn't advocate for something there. He just he's doing a stand-up bit at the beginning of a comedy talk show, which is not even really a funny talk show anymore. I mean, you're filling in for Kimmel. It makes sense that your monologue would be trashing Trump. Like, you got to keep this ruse going while Kimmel takes like a 2-month vacation.
Really?
Did you see the Rosie O'Donnell fill-in stuff?
I saw he said something about it. I didn't know if it was real.
I'm glad we don't have, maybe if we pulled it, I'm sorry I didn't play it. No, but no, I'm not. She sang Danny Boy to Donnie Boy. And I just thought she has lived the last however many years in Ireland thinking that the country needed to hear her sing Danny Boy. And it was so bad. It was, it's kind of cringe to say cringe anymore, but it's the appropriate use of the words cringe. It made you cringe. You're like, oh, this is therapy for you, and we're all here to watch. It's kind of
that's sad. No, I didn't see that. But I do just want to say again, with the Jelly Roll thing, it was just, I don't even care that he made a political joke. Because you're right, it does seem like he's out there trying to sort of give a wink and be like, "Hey, I'm not, don't label me. I can do both sides." Okay, fine. The jokes were just really boring and out of character.
You're not disappointed in Jelly Roll as much as the comedy.
I don't like the comedy.
Yeah,
it made me kind of mad because it seems so disingenuous.
Going back to what Sophie Cunningham said at the beginning of the show when I played that, where she said, America could get better at disagreeing with people. That's kind of what you're doing right now. You're like, well, you could do better than that, whatever. But you're not a fan of Jelly Roll.
Well, no, not like I actively dislike Jelly Roll.
You don't care.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
At least I do know who he is.
314-241-9797. Tell us your thoughts on should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy. I'd also like for people to text us folks that they were disappointed in when they went. Or maybe the converse of it, you found out somebody was actually one of you, maybe on either side, and you realize that that's the way they were, and it made you feel really good about them. 314-241-9797. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Margot Cleveland on the Annie Frey Show next to talk about that Supreme Court win for the Trump administration on mail-in voting restrictions. Next. Don't go away.
Should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy? We've been talking about this today in a variety of ways, not just sports, but music and film and TV. Should they use their platform for advocacy? There's a variety of answers. Look them all up on the YouTube live chat poll, and you can answer there. It is 132. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Yes, just like we've been ready. And this is what President Trump, this is what the American people expect President Trump and expect this country to be doing when it comes to election integrity and making sure that we are extraordinarily vigilant about who is voting and that they're eligible to vote. It is surprising and disappointing that instead of working with us, instead of working to make sure that we have free and fair elections, you have governors like the governor in California, you have these advocacy groups that are really just left-wing liberal groups that are immediately saying, oh no, we're gonna sue again, notwithstanding the fact the Supreme Court has already issued its stay. And yes, we will keep on fighting that. We want to make sure that every vote in this country is counted appropriately. And that's what President Trump has told the American people is going to do. And we're certainly going to back him up with that from the Department of Justice.
There's the Attorney General, Todd Blanche, talking about the Supreme Court win that the Trump administration has enjoyed here with the recent ruling. Fox News says in a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court handed the Trump administration a victory on Monday, allowing it to enforce President Donald Trump's, quote, election integrity executive order restricting mail-in voting ahead of the November midterms. Let's get to our guest. Margot Cleveland joins us right now, senior legal correspondent at The Federalist. Thank you for being with us today. It's a pleasure to have you on the show to give us some clarity as to what the Supreme Court ruling permits and does not permit.
Great. Thank you so much, Annie. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's a temporary victory because the stay the stay that was granted only involved the lower court decision that said they can't go forward with the rule at all. And as the court said, that's ridiculous. There's nothing that they've done that shows it's going to be illegal. There's nothing that you can show us that you're actually harmed by it. But as soon as the Supreme Court tossed out the stay of this rule, they published what the Postal Service wants to do, which is so reasonable. Absolutely reasonable. All they're doing is setting up a way so that they can make sure that the ballots can be tracked so that they're only going to the people on the list that the states give them, and that you're not having someone make counterfeit ballots. They're not interfering in the states in any way. But since that rule came out, all that's going to happen is the states are now going to amend their complaint. The same judges who entered the injunction against the rule are going to enter a new one. And in this case, I actually can see a basis for them holding it up because the states are going to say, look, we've already printed these envelopes and we can't go and redo it. And it's too close to the November election, which I am sure the Trump administration anticipated. And what it does is it brings full front and center for voters who is actually looking to protect your votes versus who doesn't care if there are illegal ones in there. So I think that it was a victory for the Trump administration. I actually think it was a victory not just on this case, but on showing how these lower courts have been lawless. In the opinion, there's a footnote where 6 of the justices all say that this lower court has irreparably harmed the executive branch's internal operations. That's a pretty strong statement. And I think it's a really good way to look at what we've seen with all these lower court injunctions that were just lawlessly entered. And the Supreme Court has said that.
So, Margot Cleveland speaking with us right now, senior legal correspondent at The Federalist. There are several things. I always kind of try to dig into the story, like how did we get to here?
Sure.
Because
Mhm.
we're not legal experts. That's why we get to, or we're so privileged to have you, Margot, come on the show to parse this for us. The first question I have, if the Trump administration, if there's an effort to try to shore up when it is appropriate to mail in a ballot and when it isn't, what kind of concern and what kind of evidence-based valid concern do the people trying to challenge this have? Because I hear people on the left say these are the most secure elections we've ever had. What kind of real evidence do they have that this is something that needs to be looked at very closely?
Right. So one of the things that was really fascinating for me was looking through what the U.S. Postal Service just put out, which was the rule that their final rule on this. And they went through and said, people are complaining that this is for the states to do. Yeah, we're not doing anything. The states can still have their rules in place. So the final rule issued by the U.S. Postal Service went through and ticked off all of these complaints about what Trump was doing and saying, that's nonsense. That's not what we're doing. What we are doing is making sure only ballots that were intended to be sent by the state government are being sent by the state government to the people the state government tells us it wants to go to. And the real complaint is, now the feds actually have a list of who these ballots are going to, and they would be able to have the ability to say, wait a second, this person is not a citizen. This person is dead. This person is in jail. So the real problem for the Democrats is not what the Trump administration is doing. It's a fear that it's going to expose their voter list as being completely bogus and unprotected. And we know that they're bogus because of the number of dead people on the rolls, the number of people who have moved who are on the rolls, the number of people who are not citizens that are on the rolls. And we have proof of this. And what do they say? First, it doesn't happen. Then, well, it's only a few people. Okay, well, they didn't vote. And every time we show that their claims are wrong, they just shift the goalposts. So I think that this is very helpful that this case is going forward because it brings attention to this massive problem of election integrity we have. And make no doubt, if a Republican wins in 28, the Democrats are going to say that there were irregularities. The only way our country can get past this election denialism that people call, or, that's thrown out there as a slur, is if we can trust our system. Everyone should want that, and they used to. Jimmy Carter was on a bipartisan committee that came up with a whole host of things that should be done and condemned the use of mail-in voting as being ripe for abuse. Democrats used to care about this. They don't anymore.
Yeah. And the issue needs to continue to be pushed. It does seem like, the idea of showing an ID when you vote, the America on the whole, bipartisanly, does want to have trust in our elections and isn't afraid to ask voters to prove who you are when it comes time to vote. And those voter rolls, those voter lists that are being so protected by some of these states, it just begs the question, right? It's like when you I have got 4 kids myself, and if I come home and my 5-year-old runs into the other room to hide something, I wasn't suspicious of her when I walked in the door, but I sure am now. I got to go find out what's being tucked behind the cabinet in the piano room or something like that. They're very consistent in the things that they're trying to protect. So, and you referring to this latest ruling here as, it's not the big win that this country needs in order to fortify our elections. But I'd imagine that this is a long haul where folks need to stay. The Republicans pushing against this, the people who might be Democrats who also value safe and secure elections, that they need to continue pushing through the midterms, through the 2028 election until our elections are secured. Do you think that's going to happen?
I do. I don't think the Democrats are going to join along because they benefit when there are these loose laws, and it's a lot easier to get their votes when you have someone going in the urban areas and collecting them and maybe doing it illegally. But I do think that Republicans have realized that we need to make sure the elections are secure. It's unfortunate that the rest of the country doesn't, because like I said, if Democrats lose in 28, they're going to be the ones screaming that there were irregularities. You already have every time something happens that you have so many election lawyers from both sides there. So the best way to nix that is to get safe, secure elections where every legal vote is counted, and that those people who are citizens and voting are not disfranchised. I think everybody needs to keep that in mind. Every time there's an illegal vote, that disfranchises one legal vote. I think that we're going to see a continued push to clean up the systems, and I think what you said was perfect, a perfect analogy of why are you hiding this? Why would a state not want their voter rolls clean? It just makes no sense to me.
It makes no sense, but I think we also know the answer. It doesn't make rational sense, which is why we need to be even more diligent in the pursuit and, to stay very close to this issue and don't let up. And Margot Cleveland, I know you're watching it very carefully. Thank you for sharing some of your afternoon with our listeners here on the Annie Frey Show today. We're grateful for it.
Oh, thanks so much, Annie. I appreciate it.
Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye. Margot Cleveland is the senior legal correspondent at the Federalist. It's great to have her come on the show and talk to us about where this latest Supreme Court ruling fits into the grand scheme of things of ensuring that we do have secure elections. Why in the world we wouldn't want voter rolls to be looked at? I'm not going to say I don't know. I'm going to say to the Democrats, no, say it out loud. You answer the question. Why not? What are you hiding? Usually with kids, it's either you find out something that you really appreciated and liked and needed. It's just gone missing and you realize, okay, it got broken, hidden or something. Or it starts to smell, which is, I don't know which one is worse. That's kind of maybe the same way that this is. Pretty soon it's going to start to stink to high heaven and you got to root it out. You got to get to the root of the problem. And we definitely continue to see the Trump administration working very hard to ensure that our elections are secure. We'll break here. When we come back, more feedback from you on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy? Yes, no, or yes, but not politically? YouTube.com/@AnnieFrey. Text us at 314-241-9797. We'll be back in just a minute. Todd Sivia of Sivia Law. Now, I had somebody who reached out to me. They really wanted to contact Todd Sivia and Sivia Law. And I guess the way I said Sivia, they didn't understand 100% what I was saying. So I'm going to clarify it for you right now. S-I-V-I-A. S-I-V-I-A. SiviaLaw.com is the website. And you can reach out to him to get your estate plan started, looked at, reviewed, improved, all of those things in Missouri and Illinois. He is an expert. I am a customer client of his. My husband and I went to him to get our trust established, and I am begging you, folks who have just turned your children over to the university system, the college system, you're not there with them. They've gone away. You need to get powers of attorney for their health decisions that might need to be made, for any sort of medical concerns where you need to have the power of an attorney to get access to that information to help make decisions for both their financial needs and their medical needs. This is a very affordable thing to do, and I've had some connections to some very tragic stories of people who didn't have this put into place, and they weren't able to help their child, who was now an adult, but let's be honest, still needed mom and dad's help when it came to these types of medical situations, medical emergencies, or financial situations. If you're looking to establish a trust, if you're looking for a will, those powers of attorney, reach out to Todd Sivia and tell him Annie sent you. If you're one of the first 10 callers right now to 833-995-WILL, that's 833-995-WILL, one of the first 10 callers right now to schedule a strategy session with Sivia Law, Sivia. Mention Annie, and you're going to get that session free. This is a really great way for you to get the process started, to get to know Todd and understand why so many Annie Frey Show listeners have signed up, just like I did. 833-995-WILL, SiviaLaw.com. Did you ever listen to KLOU 103.3 when it was like golden oldies?
Yeah, oh yeah. When I was a kid.
Yes. I mean, I guess that doesn't. Is there no market for that? I guess if there were,
It's gone.
I mean, you could still access the music, of course, if you wanted it. But gosh, that was like that feels like my childhood, and it probably felt like my parents' childhood.
So what's weird is that I remember the moment when they kind of moved past the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what year it was, but I remember thinking, what happened? Why did they start opening this up? Because they moved into a lot more of the 60s stuff, and then eventually now I think they're playing basically through the 90s even.
Well, it's interesting because, if you're listening to 50s music in the 90s, that's like 80s music in the 20s.
Yeah.
So the generation gap there is the same. But, gosh, I don't know. Chuck Berry?
Yeah, well, there's no radio for him anymore. There's no radio for really 50s music at all.
Right here on 97.1 FM
Oh.
Talk.
Yep.
You get 8 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not getting a lot of it.
Yeah, but it reminds you. I mean, it just feels like a moment in time to me, and I love it.
Yeah,
I just remember.
Well, I remember that moment when they moved past 50s, because they didn't completely abandon the 50s. They just moved and they started playing a lot more newer stuff, which would have been 60s and on. And I remember thinking, why did they do this? And somebody said their audience is dying.
Oh.
And I was like, holy smokes, that's sad.
I'm in their audience. I'm still here.
I know, me too.
I think all other radio stations should start playing oldies. All of them.
What do you call oldies, though?
Chuck Berry only. Isn't he St. Louisan?
Yeah, there's a lot of
That's
other
the right
things,
thing
too.
to do, people.
Right, it's
Show
the
me
right
Chuck
thing to
Berry.
do.
The YouTube poll, should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy, yes, no, or yes, but not political? Just a quick question to connect those two things. Did this happen a lot in the 50s and the 60s? I got to imagine, I mean, the 60s and rock and roll was just kind of all protests. Am I wrong? I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to be honest. It's just a perception.
Not all.
It seems like the predominant mood that produced some incredible music in that age was to rebel against.
Well, they were breaking away from societal norms a lot, though.
Leave It to Beaver.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's funny because now we think all protest is that. Like all protest is good because the 60s protests were kind of cool. It's like, no, some things you actually want to leave alone.
Anything on the YouTube, on the Text line 314-241-9797 on this particular question about celebrities using their platforms for advocacy.
As long as it's not pushy, judgy, they should be free to advocate for whatever they support. If they're pushy and judgy, they can just take the risk of being impacted professionally.
I wonder if I think that I do feel differently towards people who are asked a question and they respond. This is how I feel. And I just don't love it when they're like waggy with their finger and they're like, this is what you need to do. And anybody who doesn't do this is feeling pejorative.
Yeah, the director comes in and goes, well, Superman was an immigrant. Like, stop it. Stop. We're it's like putting it in. We wrote this into the movie on purpose to teach you a lesson. That kind of crap. You're like, come on, man. It's the reason people don't like watching a lot of the crappy Christian movies that are out there.
Superman being an immigrant is something that was said. Like, that's not just something Ryan's throwing out there.
Right, that James Gunn said that.
Legitimately was like, oh, this is what we're doing? Okay.
Right. No, I don't want to go to a concert that I paid probably a lot of money for and don't care or want to hear about their personal or political pitch.
Do you like it if you hear someone and they come out and they're like, I kind of think Donald Trump's doing some good things?
Well, I don't know.
I do like it.
At a concert, though?
I'm just being honest, that if they agree with me, I might go, well, he's going to tick some people off there, but that's cool. I might become more interested in supporting that person's career because of that. I don't ever think if you're coming out pro-Trump, well, there are very few areas where that is going to largely benefit your career. Like, to me, that seems like a sacrifice. You know, I was thinking about the Jelly Roll clip that we played. I really question when people come out and say these things, if they really even believe it. Maybe they're apolitical and they know that it's pretty trendy to hate on Trump, although I actually think that the counterculture part has become strong enough that it's not so much that, you know, hating Trump is mainstream for sure. The popular thing to do is to publicly virtue signal your hatred for Donald Trump. The counterculture, alternative, punk rock thing to do right now, I'm not going to say it's necessarily to go as far as loving Trump, but it is loving America. Because loving America publicly, patriotism and all of that type of stuff, thank you World Cup, thank you World Baseball Classic, I think that helped, thank you Olympics and the hockey team and everything, all of those gave people a comfortable permission to be like, I freaking love America. And then they're like, oh, you do? I do too. This is the best country on the face of the planet. You start coming out with that is an antithesis to the vocal, maybe minority of the Democrat Party. You're supposed to apologize for America. You're certainly not supposed to be proud of it. So you can be, you know, America out in the open, and people will judge you for being too adjacent to America first.
And I also think that has become cool enough that you can get away with it, although you highlighted a very important point. If you are in Hollywood in any way, and that includes the music industry, TV, movies, music, whatever it is, you are taking a much bigger risk still, even though the culture has shifted. You are still taking a huge risk if you come out in favor of anything red hat, anything Trump at all for your career. You're not really taking as big of a risk if you're doing it on the left. It's not riskless. It used to be it doesn't matter.
It's almost riskless because all of us on the conservative right are like, if you're really good at the guitar, we'll still listen to you.
Well, that's true. But when Jelly Roll does this, and I see people texting in saying, why does he do this? I like his music. I don't want to go see him now. It drives me crazy. That stuff I think does have it has a little impact. Even if it's not always Bud Light,
what do you think,
it has an impact.
How do you guys think that this poll is going to shake out? Do you think our audience says yes, no, or not political? Is there going to be a prevailing dominant winner here?
Prevailing no.
What do you think, Brad?
I think there will be. I think it'll be no. I think the prevailing winds of our audience will be
So you don't think it's going to be close?
No, I think it'll be a big plurality.
Go vote and tell us what you think. YouTube channel. We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.
Decides to write a check. I'm John Saucier, Fox News. A federal judge overseeing the California trial against Meta has suspended proceedings following a settlement announcement. Here's Fox's Tanya J. Powers with more.
Meta's roughly $17 billion settlement with dozens of states that had joined the federal lawsuit against the company will now be reviewed by the judge, who says she's inclined to approve the deal. California Attorney General Rob Bonta says he's not finished.
We're continuing our fight across social media, including our litigation against TikTok.
Meta Chief Legal Officer C.J. Mahoney called on TikTok and YouTube to join Meta's, quote, industry-wide solution.
I'm proud both of the work Meta has done to protect kids historically and of this new groundbreaking agreement. But its success depends on all other social media platforms following Meta's lead.
Meta agrees to add safety measures, including daily time limits and pauses for children using Instagram and Facebook. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
The mayor of Lawrence, Massachusetts, Brian DePena, and Massachusetts State Representative Francisco Polino are being indicted for using more than $2 million in pandemic-related funds to bankroll their personal debts, political ambitions, and real estate ventures. U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts, Leah Foley, criticized the pair who misused the money that was intended for COVID relief.
The money these two individuals allegedly scammed was meant for hardworking Americans and struggling business owners, not for two greedy individuals who lied and stole for their own personal benefit.
The two suspects also accused of trying to conceal their criminal cash flows by laundering the money. And Democratic-controlled states filing another lawsuit challenging President Trump's executive order looking to limit mail-in voting in this year's midterm elections. The action filed by about 24 states against the Postal Service marks a new phase in the high-stakes litigation just 2 days after the Supreme Court ruled against them in a separate case. Did not say the president's order was legal, though. America is listening to Fox News.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil, one simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to metamucil.com for more details.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. What the heck day is it? Wednesday? Does it feel like a Wednesday? It kind of does. I feel like I'm like right in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Of everything.
It's the Wednesday of the week. It's kind of like a Wednesday-ish Wednesday, too.
What's the worst day? Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that is according to the science. What is the worst day to have not feel like that day? I kind of think it's Tuesday. I don't know. Tuesday might be the
Wait, what are you
suckiest
saying?
day.
That when it's Tuesday and it's actually Monday?
Do you ever get the vibe? Like, do you ever get the feeling like, oh, we should be winding up, but we're wrapping the day up or the week up here, and then it's Tuesday?
Well, you know what really happens more often than not is that you go into a normal week and that doesn't happen. You go into a short week where you're off Monday.
The longest short week ever.
You're on Tuesday. You're going, oh, it's already Tuesday. By the time you get to Wednesday and Thursday, you're like, this week should be over. What is going on?
I don't know. Wednesday is the downward. I used to love Wednesdays at college because it was Thursday was my last day of school of classes for the week. So
that happens a lot.
Thursday, yeah, once you know what you're doing. Thursdays were party nights, college nights. That was wild country night for myself and for my friends. I have so many. I forget about this, but I have so many people when I reconnect with them or see them who were in my orbit at that time that eventually I got them to come to wild country with us. I think they consider me the wild country person. And it's not really my personality isn't really like that, but it was in college. It was super fun.
Did you ever ride a bull?
No, I don't think so.
I always wanted to do that in a tank top.
There's still time.
I know, but I'm getting older, and if you fall off now, it's different than when you're 20.
Not really. It's still gravity.
The way you get hurt is different.
Yeah, it's worth it, though.
You could get hurt
You got to live your life,
getting
Ryan.
on the bull.
Okay, so here's the deal. If you haven't connected with the Annie Frey Show Facebook page yet, now's the time to do it. Go like the page. You can message me there. Do you have a bull, mechanical or real? I have a Ryan.
I did not say real.
You did not.
But you're right, I didn't specify.
So you'll ride a real bull. You're a man.
If the bull is nearing death.
You only have to do it for 8 seconds, Ryan.
Ryan will ride a dead bull. He's like, I'll just straddle his thing.
Well, no, I want it to be alive because if it's dead, that's just some sort of joke. I'm not here to make jokes.
That's sick.
You know that. I'm here to ride a bull, but I want it to be docile and nearing its end.
You know, like bulls. Yeah.
Geriatric bull riding.
Right, yeah.
Contact me on the Facebook page. I'm
or a
willing,
little baby bull.
I'm willing to make this happen for you.
Does
and
a
for
baby
me.
bull, can a baby bull support my weight? Because I got some girth.
Yes and no, you don't. Nah.
If he stood on the back of a baby bull, how big would the bull
How long
have
do you
to
think
be?
you can stay on a bull? I bet I could stay on a bull longer than you.
I bet I could surf
boy.
a bull longer than ride it.
That's
Just like the
0
CDR.
seconds.
The circular donut raft that we talked about many years ago. This is Annie Frey
this
show
is-
lore now.
This is like the first week of Ryan being on this show. There was a question, what world record could you break? And you said the record for standing on a donut raft in a pool.
the longest.
The longest.
Yeah, because I'm pretty good at that.
Which we then coined a circular donut raft or a CDR, and we have yet to test it, but I'm also up for that. You want to do that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
What are you going to wear?
Probably my jammies.
Yesterday, Brad was talking about men at the water park showing some skin. Are you going to do that?
I'll wear one of those old-fashioned 1920s men's swim suits. It's got like a full tank top and
yeah, he doesn't want to have to shave his back.
It's
Like a
one
singlet?
Piece. Yeah, it's a one. Yeah, it's a one piece. The old men with the handlebar mustaches.
Sure, and a
lifting
cigarette.
lifting the weights that are just like big
What's
balls.
the name of the cigarette holder? You know, the long black thin thing that allows you to put your I think men use that too, right?
FDR did.
I don't think men use those a lot.
I just want you, the children listening right now, to know that there used to be a time where people would talk about these things and then you'd just wonder about the answer because you couldn't Google it because it didn't exist. And then someone like Ryan would always give you a very factual opinion and people would be like, well, I can't really argue with it. And then the conversation was just done.
All right,
That's
fine.
just- That's just how conversation used to happen. We didn't have a full grok ChatGPT report on every fantasy or question that would come to mind. You had the answer, and it was like you just stare at each other now until you're like, okay, who's going to look it up?
Okay, those cigarette holders. The official name of them is cigarette holders. If you were wanting to know.
That's so lame. People in the I don't know, in my mind it's the 20s. They're much more classy than cigarette holder.
It seems like they'd have a name.
Mm-hmm.
Did men use them? Yes, men did use cigarette holders, though their styles were generally much shorter than the longer versions used by women.
Okay.
Men don't want to brag. And you're right. Franklin D. Roosevelt famously used a short black one. and and also apparently
That's not what I heard. What?
no, yeah, oh, because he was.
No, just
'Cause he was
continue.
in a wheelchair.
Yeah. No, and not. No. What are you talking about? How do I skip the station? Change the radio station. Give me oldies now. Chuck Berry for the win.
Apparently, there was another journalist around that time who used one, but it was he had a name for that one called a tar guard.
Well, see, I mean, that seems more believable. If you'd have said it's called a tar guard, I'd have been like, yeah, that makes sense. Like a guard of tar.
Guard of tar.
sounds like we're St. Louisans saying a gourd of tar.
Tell us St. Louis.
A guard of tar.
To say a gourd of tar. Why? I don't know. It's not words, but you'll laugh. Okay. Okay.
The 44
guard.
the 44 farty far thing is a west of the Mississippi thing.
It is not an Illinois
It's
thing.
not. I mean, I always tell
Trick
people
or treat. Tell me a joke.
the
No.
people in Illinois. Yeah, we can do that either, and we can pronounce force correctly.
Yeah.
The people in Illinois do not like get new radio equipment when they go into Illinois. We're all St. Louis media. You would think that there would be bleed on something like that. We don't ask where you went to high school. We don't say farty far.
Nope.
And we don't know to tell a joke when you trick or treat.
Nope. And we use peanut butter sandwiches in our chili.
I don't do that.
I know,
I've
but
heard of that.
You've heard of it,
But
at least.
Missourians don't?
No. That's an Illinois Metro East thing. Yes. I'm going to look it up right now. It says Franklin Delano Roosevelt said it's true.
I took I think Balls tagged me on X for some Midwest Ope. That's the name of the X channel, to test and see how Midwest you are. And one of them was eating cinnamon rolls with your chili.
Whoa, I've never heard of that.
Well, it felt very North Midwestern.
Okay.
Because it was like you visited all the Great Lakes, and I'm like, no. Which is the one that's in Chicago? I've seen that one. Don't even know. It says Lake America?
Lake America.
Yes, yes.
That's
of
the
course.
one.
And J.B. Pritzker demanded it. He's like, we need to celebrate the country. No, I don't know. Like the Midwestern things, they all sent the weird things people eat with chili. I'm like, how about cheese? Maybe some diced onions if I don't have anywhere to go.
Man.
Hot dogs?
There's a whole world of chili that I think probably that we have not explored yet. We personally.
But mostly you.
Me and you should go
I've explored
do a chili cook-off in October.
No chili with you. No, that's not true. My husband's chili is world class.
Since we're getting into that season right now,
Yeah.
is there anything better than walking down a main street of some city and just doing the chili samples for 50 cents or $1 or whatever it is? That is one of the best festivals, and there are so many of them all over this area.
You're allowed to have that.
Thank you.
I don't know.
I was really looking at for some camaraderie.
The beginning of the is there anything better? I'm like, well, I can think of a few things.
Well, so I was really hoping that we had really stumbled upon something that we could agree on.
Nope.
But thank you for letting me have my moment.
I like chili.
You should go to a chili. Have you ever been to one?
Where
you walk around, there's
not
different
on purpose.
booths. You've never done it?
No.
Brad, have you ever done that?
Give us your chili
yeah, and I've
cook-off
worked 'em.
recommendations.
You've worked them.
Yeah, Brad entered a chili cook-off contest and he won it. How'd you win it,
I
Brad?
actually got second, but I used ChatGPT to create my chili recipe.
And he just remember made that.
Chili
That's funny.
GPT.
That's what you called it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a good name for it.
You know what I found out the secret was? It's safe. It has to have a broad appeal. So like everybody goes out there with their chili and they're like, oh, I add this and they try weird stuff, and that doesn't appeal to enough people. So it was just a very boring chili recipe.
I think
and it
the
got
secret
second.
is the sweetness factor to the kick factor.
Or the sweetness of the person serving it.
I don't
Enjoy
care
that,
about,
y'all.
I don't care about that.
I do.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
You know what that means?
Enjoy some chili. F you.
Somebody told me yesterday. I was talking about Dolly Parton's Ethan, come in here. I need your help. I was talking about Dolly Parton's book club or whatever. Can you go get him? I need his help. And
we'll see.
Yeah. And I guess the Imagination Library is funded partially by I need you to reboot this so I have bump music to go out. Just do it. I am running the board, folks. This is the first time I've done something that I don't know how to fix. I don't think there was bump music in there. Anyway, Imagination Library, Dolly Parton does have public funding involved in it. The Imagination Library takes care of all of the back end stuff. And thank you for watching our show on Facebook, or maybe just going there to comment on this issue. But it was full of bless your hearts and you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm like, ooh, when you say bless your heart, that's supposed to be so passive aggressive. I don't know if you're trying to be nice to me or not. But she was not.
There was some
very
bless
mad.
your hearts on the text line too.
It was.
Yesterday.
Was it about that?
Yeah, it was about that. We had moved past the discussion.
Yeah.
But it did come in.
I'm going to tell you right now that the bless your heart part of that did feel a little more like a F you to me.
Yeah, but it's not. It's okay though. It does feel nicer. Like, I disagree with you, but I love you. That's what it feels like to me.
When it was repeatedly followed up with how much shame I should hold, I didn't feel that there was a love nature to it. But maybe I deserved it. So
doesn't it feel better if somebody emails you and says, I hate you? Or
No,
I
I'd-
hate you, bless your heart.
Ryan, do you know me? Say it to my face. I don't dabble.
You
in
don't want somebody to randomly come up to you in Walmart, though, and say that to you in your face.
I'd rather them tell me they hate me than bless your heart.
In the parking lot?
Wherever they need to say it.
You'd rather somebody say, I hate you, than bless your heart.
It's the same thing. Bless your heart is faux virtue.
I'll take it.
Bless your heart, man.
Thank you very much. I mean that.
And so do I. Ethan, sports and local next. Don't go away. This morning, I was at the Exercise Coach. I go twice a week, and I encourage you to search online the Exercise Coach near me and find one of the incredible 8 Greater St. Louis locations in Missouri and Illinois that might be near you, so you can experience the Exercise Coach for yourself. And if you do, mention Annie when you reach out to them. Your first 2 sessions are going to be free. You can experience the Exercise Coach difference for yourself. Now, when I say this is a 20-minute workout, I mean it's a 20-minute workout. Now, if you want to go slow and you're talking to people and you want to take up more time, there's a lot of they're the friendliest people there. They are pushing for you. They are cheering for you, but they are meticulously walking you through each exercise you need to do so that every minute of those 20 minutes is helping you grow, helping you strengthen, helping you age with grace and with strength. I cannot commend Exercise Coach enough for having put together this plan that works for me. I've seen people of all ages there, but I've seen people who are decades older than me, and they are rocking it out. So if you've been thinking about how do I fit this into my schedule, how do I get an actual real workout that's going to be, not something that's going to eat up my whole day, the Exercise Coach is the option you've been looking for. I love it. I know you're going to love it too. You've got nothing to lose. Search online, the Exercise Coach near me, and you'll be able to find the one that's closestly and most conveniently located to you. Mention Annie and get those first 2 sessions free as well. You're going to love it. Give me your feedback as well if you go check them out. Search the Exercise Coach near me. Check it out. Sports and local.
Ethan's jump scare.
You're so weird. Ethan, come back to us.
I know that in the description for how you wanted him to read that, you said, say it really fast and frantically.
Yeah, I did.
Ethan's jump scare.
And he did it.
When I was coming in studio, Ryan said, quick, hurry, put your headphones on. Put your headphones on.
You're going to like this
He was
one.
really excited for me to hear that one.
That's the best of the new ones. All the rest of the new ones, they pale in
Mid.
comparison. Yeah.
Okay.
Jeesh. Yikes. Not a very
Ethan's jump scare.
high bar.
Brad suggested we do the scream.
That's good. I
It
like
was very good.
That's a good addition.
Yeah.
Scream at it all. Otherwise, it would have just been Ethan's jump scare, and that's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
You're really running out of ideas.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome into Sports and Local, sponsored by All Financial
How'd
on
the
the Annie
Cardinals
Frey
do?
Show.
Cardinals.
Cardinals, go Cardinals.
What'd they do? Another jump scare.
That's terrible.
I made a fart noise with
Okay.
my mouth.
All right.
The Cardinals lost 13-1 last night. The fifth inning, I believe, shaved years off of my life.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
Really?
I mean, it may have been a 45-minute half inning.
Good thing you were going to live to 200.
Really?
Yeah. Now you're
Interesting.
going to die at 180.
All right, thanks, Witch. The Orioles scored 8 runs in the top of the fifth inning. Matthew Liberatore got shelled last night. It was a rough night for Cardinal Nation. The Cardinals have lost now 4 games in a row. And I would argue that this 4-game stretch has been the lowest point of the 2026
Of your life?
season. Yeah, when you just look at how quickly things flipped from them being in the wild card mix, the couple of pitching injuries they experienced with Andre Palante, Hunter Dobbins going to the IL, and you got beat decisively in 2 of the games. You lost the other 2 in really horrible fashion where you had leads late into the game, and all of a sudden, I mean, it kind of feels like the season is over. And I saw a great quote this morning from Martin.
The season is over?
Saw a great quote this morning saying, well, they got us to football season. And you know what? Like, I think that's a pretty good mindset. Like, that's a pretty, with the expectation for what this season was supposed to be, I think that's a, well done, Cardinals. You got us to this point. You kept us entertained.
What place are we in the Central?
Probably third. I haven't.
Yeah.
I mean,
because I know that the Cubs and the Brewers
don't
are
matter
really
to
good
us at all.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know. But I believe we are still probably third.
So the Pirates and the Reds are doing Pirates and Reds.
The
things?
Reds, I think, are fourth, and the Pirates are fifth. If I am correct, no, I am not. It is the Pirates in fourth and the Reds in fifth. So both of them are not having great seasons. But yeah, rough night last night.
Sound like
for
a dog.
the Redbirds. I knew something was going to be said about that tonight.
Which part?
Michael McGreevy.
That my season is over. One sad
is-
puppy eyes.
Michael McGreevy pitching tonight for the Cardinals.
Who are they playing?
The Baltimore
Orioles. That's right.
Yes, the
Big
Battle
comeback.
of the Birds. Did you guys hear that last week during the continued demolition of the Millennium Hotel that a fire broke out?
No.
Did you guys hear about this?
No.
This was reported last Wednesday on the 24th floor of the building around 8 p.m. In a statement, the wrecking company, Spiritus Wrecking Company, that is handling the demolition, they said that a city building inspector determined that the fire was a result of torch cutting work. Small, likely unnoticeable embers smoldered through the day before catching a wooden protective deck around scaffolding on the 24th floor. Firefighters quickly doused the flame. No injuries were reported. Of course, we know that the Millennium Hotel has been vacant since 2014, currently undergoing demolition with the final phase of the project involving the 28-story North Tower with interior demolition going from the top down. Have you guys seen any of the pictures of what the skyline will look like from Busch Stadium once this project is done?
I don't look at pictures. I think they steal people's souls.
Oh, my gosh.
But I have seen the Millennium in person as I drive by it.
Every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be better. It blocks the arch.
Mm-mm. I don't think it'll block the arch at all.
No. You're
You
talking
mean
about
the Millennium right
the current
now.
one does.
You're saying, okay, yes, I got you. I thought you were talking about the new one.
Oh, and
yeah,
you're
it
talking
does.
about the new one. If we've seen the new,
If you've seen pictures of the new one,
yeah, it's beautiful.
it's gonna. I mean, it's gonna in a similar way to what One Cardinal Way, the luxury apartment building, did. I
Yeah.
mean, there's just not a lot of modern, slick-looking skyscrapers in St. Louis.
Well, we need to have businesses and people want to be here.
exactly. I mean, you
So
go to-
what's chicken and the egg? What do you do first?
Right. Yeah, you have to be able to fill it if you're going to build it, and this is going to look really good. It's going to look really, really slick, and yeah, unfortunately, it's going to take a few years for us to be able to get to that point, and you're going to have to deal with the ugliness of the Millennium Hotel being taken down floor by floor, and it has begun. You can see.
So they're
they've-
not just imploding the sucker?
Nope, not imploding it because
That'd be
there
so
is.
much more fun.
It's too close to the interstate, they said, and then there's a couple of buildings too close to where it would basically create some concern about the structure of those buildings. A towering symbol of Anheuser-Busch history that once looked over The Newark skyline will now glow over St. Louis. The historic neon-lit eagle sign that for decades stood atop the company's former brewery in Newark, New Jersey, has been restored and relit above the Anheuser-Busch Brewery, bringing the landmark to the company's hometown. Anheuser-Busch previously confirmed plans to salvage the massive sign after the Newark brewery was sold for redevelopment. A quote here from an Anheuser-Busch spokesperson saying the iconic AB sign atop the Newark brewery is an important piece of our company's history, and we plan to relocate it to our hometown of St. Louis, where it is will be preserved and enjoyed by visitors for years to come. Have you guys seen the new pictures of it?
It's like a circle, like a lit white circle with the eagle on it. The eagle looks like the one over 6440.
Yes. I think it's identical.
It was a big deal when they relit that thing on 6440.
Yeah, because I remember like growing up, it being lit and being like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then it was out for, several years, right?
Yeah.
And then they brought it back, in probably the past 2-3 years? It hasn't been lit that long again. So I think it's just it's a cool little thing to view when driving over that.
That I live to see the day where St. Louis gets its act together and understands that we would be prime location for businesses, for some industry, like maybe you get an influx of tech people, companies who want to invest here or whatever. There has to be something. We have to get our act together because it's such a great city.
What's your level of optimism?
I mean, I'm going to be honest and say I hope for it, but I'm not optimistic about it.
I'm higher on St. Louis than I am a lot of cities. I don't know that it'll happen, but there are cities in this country that I'm like, they're not going to. Portland's not going to turn. Chicago's not going to turn around. There's no incentive for that to happen. But St. Louis could do it. I'm
Why?
not saying it will, because we're not as big. We are very centrally located as far as like commerce goes, and I'm trying not to just go full partisan here, but we are in a red state, and a lot of the crappy things that were done to St. Louis, like hiring a prosecutor that didn't prosecute crime, the state stepped in and stopped that crap. And so we have more checks and balances here than a lot of other cities do, and just a lot of really cool architecture and history that we could become a sort of cool little Midwest city if things all fall the right way.
We've talked about this before, but it's so frustrating when you go to these other cities that St. Louis should just be right on par with, and you go through Pittsburgh. I mean, I experienced this at Cleveland a little bit, didn't get to go deep into it, and I know all of these cities have their own similar challenges that they're facing. And I'm going to, maybe a little commendation here to St. Louis with the recent influx of, feds that have come in to combat crime. And I think that this Tucker Avenue or whatever it is it Avenue? Tucker looks great. They've repaved everything.
Tucker
Boulevard, I think. Yeah. And I know that there's a lot of work being done. Mark Sutherland's always talking to me about the things that are being done on Washington Avenue. All of that's great, but if people don't feel safe coming down here, then nothing is going to get off the ground. And I'm always looking for opportunities to say, like, this, I think we're really getting this right here. And I feel like the possibility exists. I don't have anything really negative to say about Kara Spencer. I'm sure if we wanted to go policy for policy, I could be very frustrated. She doesn't seem to be so angrily against what progress would look like in St. Louis the way the prior administration did. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm not optimistic.
Well, Kara Spencer will be in studio today at 5:03 with Mark Reardon. So
that's
I
fantastic.
Think he is,
glad I didn't just trash her.
think he is
that's his show.
Locked and loaded and ready to go with the questions to bring to her.
I think it's important. I'm glad Mark's doing that. I think it's important for people. Like, do you really care about St. Louis, and would you really like to see? Because it's very easy to poo all over St. Louis for being a blue. Speaking of, there's poo all over St. Louis. You can find it if you look hard enough. You don't have to look that hard.
I'm looking to my left to see it right now.
I am poo.
Winnie. I just think that the opportunity exists to look at somebody who may not have the same political letter next to their name and go, I'm interested in what you can do to help.
Yeah.
Like, what is your vision? Maybe we want the same things and completely disagree how to get there. I don't think the last mayor wanted the same things that we did. Like, the end goal, we're not trying to get to the same place. Maybe with Kara Spencer, that's the case. I don't see her actively working against St. Louis's best interests the way I've seen other people in leadership do it. So I'm all for it. We'll be listening to the Mark Reardon Show today
503.
503. Kara Spencer in studio. Good to hear that's going to
I'll
be
probably
on
tune in at 502 just so I don't miss any of it.
Well, good for you, Ryan. Good for you. One final
Bless your
thing
heart.
about the massive eagle, Anheuser-Busch Eagle, that has been relocated to St. Louis. It was once recognized by the Guinness World Records as the largest animated animal neon sign. Don't we love the Guinness Book of
we've
World
got that
Records?
going for
We've
us.
got that going for us.
Amen
What
to
more
that.
do we need?
Not much.
World renowned.
Did you hear him doing stories there about the emotionally healthy daily habits?
Of course I
in
did.
Wiggins, America.
Of course he was listening.
We're going to jump back into that. I've got a story that I've been wanting to get to, and it has to do with sending text messages to people and what the context of making connection through something as simple as a text. We'll dip into that and some more emotionally healthy daily habits when we come back. Thanks, Ethan. Don't go away.
I've really enjoyed putting songs that were like copyrighted back in slowly. I've really put quite a few of those back in. This was one of them. Like when we used to play the music on the stream, you could like a lot of it we blocked out.
This song coming out of a St. Louis conversation is fantastic.
I think you were on.
So Ann's Bra Shop is hiring, and I think that if you are somebody who is looking for employment, if you're somebody who understands the value of helping people, Ann's Bra Shop might have the job just for you. They've got meaningful work, flexible hours for you, and they are looking to hire at all locations. What you want to do is call Ann's Bra Shop at 314-878-4144. 314-878-4144. They are servicing women of all shapes and sizes every day at Ann's Bra Shop, but they're also helping women who have recently gone through a mastectomy, have dealt with breast cancer, and have to go somewhere to really find out, what do we do next? How do we start living life again and living it to the fullest? You reach out to Ann's Bra Shop at 314-878-4144 if that sounds like work that you'd be interested in doing. They're incredible people. The atmosphere is so fun to be in and around, and to learn the way that they're helping women across St. Louis. I think you'll be very, very excited to be a part of it. You can apply in person today and every day but Tuesday, and you can call them directly if you reach out to them at 314-878-4144. That's 314-878-4144, online at brashop.com.
The YouTube live chat poll today, should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy? Here's a couple of texts that have come in, 314-241-9797. The first one says, vote yes. Should be able to say, support whatever. They are free to impact their own entertainment value. And then right before that, poll question, no, they should not. Cynthia Nixon, need I say more? It is 2:36. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
So, Wiggins America, 1245 each day, emotionally healthy daily habits. Can you reset for us the daily habits that you've already visited here?
The few we went through were reading books and then taking walks, connecting with others.
Okay.
And that's, I think, as far as we got.
Connecting with others. That's where I want to pick up from here. I have a lifestyle article on yahoo.com that I've been holding on to for a while. And the headline says, psychology says people who send, quote, saw this and thought of you texts are doing a form of relational work most people never learn. A bid that asks for nothing and proves someone exists in your mind when they're not in the room. Have you ever done that? Have you ever seen something? I'll do that to you every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's usually something really stupid.
Ridiculous.
But
somebody pooping on the sidewalk.
I've not
take a picture
done
of it.
that.
Hey, thought of you.
I probably would.
I know you would.
Yeah, it's a love language of a weird kind. Have you ever done that? Just
yeah.
And not just, I mean, I think it's very healthy to do that to your spouse, to your kids, if your kids are old enough to have access to phones and all that type of stuff. How does that work, and how do you work that in?
I have done it. I continue to do it, but it tends to be certain people that I'll just randomly think about, and I wonder when I do it, am I supposed to be praying for them right now or something? So I will, and then sometimes I'll also text them, hey, how's it going? Especially somebody that I don't see a lot, but that I know is an important person to me.
Is the connection, when you send that text message, if something just spurs into your life and you think about somebody, do you send them the thing that, like, oh, hey, I saw this and thought of you, which is what this article is, or they just enter your mind and then you just decide your next course of action that really, in their reception of that message is just, hey, how you doing?
It's both. I'll do both of those. Sometimes I will text somebody and just say, thinking about you, how's it going? And that's it. Or thinking about you and just wanted to let you know that I was. Like, I don't even need you to respond. But have you ever gotten those texts from people?
Yeah, and I know those people. Like, I can think of those people off the top of my head right now. They just make me feel like I'm special and I matter to them. And I know that these people do this for others in their life. It's not like I'm the only one who...
Maybe, but like I said, you have 500 contacts in your phone. How many people do you actually do that to? Because for me, it's about 5 or 6 people that I'll ever have that happen with. And it's people that you don't see often.
I was going to say, one of the people who I will do that with is a grade school friend of mine who served in the military, and like I'm always kind of wondering what he thinks about something because he just has an incredibly different opinion about a lot of the stuff that's going on in Iran.
A beautiful mind. Would you say that he has a beautiful mind?
Yeah. It's hard for me to say no to that right now. No, his mind kind of sucks. No, we were very good friends in grade school and just continued that friendship throughout the course of the years. But I mean, he's served maybe 3 actual tours during the global war on terror and then went back doing contract work over and over again. So he just knows things that I don't know. And then he was an instructor with the Army until he completed his full service. It's very valuable. But if I see something and it makes me think of him, then I go, oh, hey, how's it going? And then we end up talking about Iran, essentially. I've got another friend who I grew up with, and we'll do this every once in a while. It's like if I see a Ford Aerostar, I'll be like, hey, Katrina, remember in 1990, like 99 probably, when she got her license. She was like the first person to get her license. She was my best friend. And we would drive around in this red Ford Aerostar that her family had, and we never felt cooler. Just something like that. And it's just like, it's just high.
Yes, it is.
And it gives them the opportunity to respond back.
When you see something like that triggers a memory. Then for me, that was my grandma. Anytime I see Iran, I think, Grandma,
what would she say?
What would she say about this? Because we used to talk about Iran all the time.
Okay,
she
so
called
we're
it
joking
Persia.
about that now.
Yeah. She's from a different era.
I think I should probably do it with family more often, but I just do it with my friends from a long time ago. I just had a friend message me when I was in Disney World, and he was, I think, an usher in my wedding. I think he was an usher, but he or his mom found our wedding invitation. It's pristine. I don't have that.
Wow.
And so he just sent me a text and said, "Look what I found," and I was like, "This is incredible." I mean, my whole Disney World vacation with my family, I'm like, I know exactly where I was standing when I got that message.
You should send him pictures of Usher a lot to remind him of what he means to you.
All right, you're on one today.
Thank you.
Brad, you ever... Shush. You just sit
Your
still.
turn, Brad.
I'm going to turn this over to you in a second. You can do whatever the heck you want with this thing. Do you ever get or send those kinds of text messages to people?
I don't get them very often, but I send them all the time. I've got groups with my brother and his wife, my brother by himself. I've got friend groups that I send them to. I've got single friends within the groups. And like whenever I come across stuff that's funny or that makes me think of them, and it's like, oh, this would be perfect. Both my brother and his wife would think this is funny, or my one friend would think this is funny. It's so... I do this more than probably most anything. I send them to Ryan.
Brad sends me Instagram videos about funny stuff, and 9.5 times out of 10, it's legitimately funny. It's like really funny.
So when you get a message, you're like, I got to see this.
Well, I can't always open it with my kids around because I never know. But
because Brad's filthy.
I can add that. I can add language warning to it if you want.
Yeah, maybe. You probably should.
But yeah, I do this all the time. But it's just, I see something, it's funny, it makes me think of somebody, or it's like, this is a caricature of your relationship with this person, and sometimes it's inside jokes, all that other stuff. And it's weird how often the algorithm will feed me something that reminds me of a friend that I'll send to them.
I want to encourage you, if you're listening right now, to think of somebody who you love and maybe haven't talked to in a really long time, and just, you could be like, here, this is a marketing campaign for a show. I was listening to this radio show. It's incredible, and I thought of you.
Yeah, I was listening to 97.1 between noon and 3.
Waiting for Kara Spencer at 5:03 on the Mark Reardon Show.
Right, I just couldn't
just sitting
wait.
here waiting.
Couldn't wait for
this
the Reardon
drivel.
Show. I got to sit through the 2 o'clock hour
Man,
of that crap, though.
I get that. I feel the same way. Real quick, do you want to tell us the other emotionally healthy daily habits? Just run through them here real quick.
Yeah, I
before we go?
will, but then I also got to read a couple texts.
Okay, well, hustle.
Eating well and staying hydrated.
Yeah.
Practicing good sleep habits, Annie.
I feel attacked.
Have you gotten better at that?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about that for a while.
Yes. I'm actually pretty good at it now.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, aren't you just the best at everything?
No.
And then
I'm
last...
not very patient.
Checking in with yourself.
Okay.
That's where the list kind of jumped the shark.
Do you check in with yourself?
Every now and then. Like, hey, Ryan, how are you? Look in the mirror. Hey, buddy. How you feeling?
Do you like yourself?
Yeah.
Always?
Yeah.
You should. That's good. That's good practice.
Here's a text that I need to highlight. It says, it's on our text line, 314-241-9797. It says, I'm thinking about you guys right now.
Oh, thanks.
Oh.
Hey.
We feel seen.
Yeah.
Which is hard because we're on the radio. You know?
Yeah,
we
I
don't
do.
feel seen a lot. We feel heard.
No, but you can see us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Go subscribe there and take us with you wherever you go. We are always grateful for that. A reminder, if you want to vote in the YouTube live chat poll every day, and maybe it seems cumbersome to get to the poll. I've heard from people who are like, I just wish it were easier. I do too. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't listen to anything I say. If you subscribe to the channel and you turn on the bell, ring the notification bell there, when we go live every day, there it is. When we go live every day, you will get a notification that we've gone live. And if I've done my job, because I'm the one who puts together that whole YouTube live stream, so when there's mistakes, it's on me. But when we go live, you'll get notified. You can go vote in the YouTube poll right away, and then you've participated. You've been counted. And we here, I'm from Illinois, so we say make as many accounts as you want, vote as many times as you want. We're pretty happy about that. So keep it here. We'll give you the results of the poll when we come back. Should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy? Yes, but not politically, or no? Those results in just a minute. Don't go away. Stewart's American Mortgage. He's the bagel loan guy, and boy, is the bagel loan a smart move for you. Why is that? Because when you're using the bagel loan, you get no closing costs that you have to pay for. They're not there. You don't have to use those closing costs. They don't have to pay them. Stewie takes care of it for you. If you're looking for a new mortgage, a 30-year loan on a new home purchase, Stewie wants to offer you an incredible opportunity right now, in addition to the bagel loan, where you pay no dollars in closing costs. For that first year of your 30-year loan, save 1% on your interest rate for those first 12 payments, and you are going to have a lower rate, and you're going to have no closing costs. You're going to have a great deal in that exciting new house that you're looking to purchase. You can reach out to him directly at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can text him. You can call him. But when you do reach out to him, tell him you heard about him on the Annie Frey Show. If you want more details than what I've explained here, you can Google the bagel loan to find out more. He'd be happy to discuss with you any of the questions you have, whether it's a new home purchase or mortgage refinance. Google that bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Annie just left the room, so I got to lead this segment, I guess. She had to just run out real quick to do a kid pickup or something like that, so we knew this was coming. And I did not prepare at all. I had all day to be ready for 5 minutes of content, and I don't have anything. So we're going to go to the text line, 314-241-9797. And if you text anything that sounds interesting, it's going to make the show right now. I will address this thing first. We talked about this, earlier this hour, I guess? Bless your heart. So multiple people have texted in since we said that bless your heart equals basically screw off or whatever in a nice Southern way, and said the same thing. I'll read this. Bless your heart does not necessarily mean F you or some variation. It all depends on the situation and inflection. It has so many meanings that they can't be covered in this text. Source, real Southerner, 5th generation Georgian. Agree,
5th generation.
Agree or disagree?
No, I think they're right. I have Southern family, and it can be affection or flipping the bird. It could be both.
It default is affection, I think.
I don't know what the default. It really is the inflection on it. I don't know that there is a default.
Have you ever heard it, have you definitively heard it both ways?
Oh, yeah.
Because I take it the original way every time, which is
just keep doing that.
This is just very nice.
It'll make your life a lot better.
Yes.
That's also how I take it. I would argue that maybe
sometimes it's pity.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's more so the older generations probably had more good intention with using it. It's just not a phrase that's used much anymore. I can't think of if I've ever had it used to me in like a sarcastic tone or any sort of dig, because it's not really said. Now, if someone in my generation said it, then I would kind of be thrown off because I never hear it. But I feel like it's oftentimes pretty pure intentions, especially I remember hearing it a lot as a kid from like my parents when I wasn't feeling well, or even my grandparents. That's pure intention. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Some good text coming in. I'm going to jump back into that in just a second, but I want to ask you before we do, is Bless Your Heart generational?
Yes.
Are young people growing into it, so anybody who's old will say it?
Oh, I understand.
Or is it going to die off because
No,
the
I
new
think it'll
generation
die
doesn't
off.
say it?
I think it'll die off.
I don't
Really?
think it will.
If you're a true Southern, we're not Southern here, so it's hard for us to judge.
It's not going to die off in the South.
I didn't
and
think so
and then
either.
southern transplants to other areas, they'll use it as well.
It's going to die off eventually.
This text is a great question. It says, just got back from a trip from Africa for the last 2 weeks. Haven't had any news. Did I miss anything important?
No.
The person's name is Tag, or they just wrote Tag. I'm not sure.
Like showed up today?
I guess they just got back. This is the first time they're tuning back into the news. Did you miss anything newsworthy in the last 2 weeks?
Well,
yeah.
Ryan?
Well, yeah, but what was it? What would you say is the biggest story?
Economic D-Day is a pretty big deal.
I was going to say the same thing.
This meta settlement's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I mean, you got to follow it, but I don't know if that's changing. Well, in some ways, it could change your life probably more than other things.
It showed liability and admission of.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that there was a mission of guilt.
What are you pushing us out?
No.
What are you
This
doing?
is the news they missed. This is the biggest news missed. Right? Over the last 2 weeks?
Did you not see this yesterday, though? Tag, or whatever your name is?
You said that's why I asked if he came back today.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. He probably knows all about Tim Curry passing away.
Yeah, I was going to say Tim Curry passed away today, too.
It's pretty sad.
Economic D-Day is huge. I mean, as far as news, political news, like losing Dolly Parton is probably the one that you're going to see. Did you see there's billboards with, like, goodbye Dolly up?
She is an icon, man.
I saw
One of a
screenshots
kind.
of tweets from both President Trump and the DSA acknowledging her death.
No kidding.
Flags at half staff.
Who is the next person that will pass away that will receive a condolence, a sincere condolence from both extreme sides?
I have an answer to this question. Do you?
No, I don't see it. I don't know that the political climate allows that to happen.
It does.
Who?
Through one man. His name is John Wick.
It's
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He is somebody that every side loves.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue what his politics are.
Good guy,
and I
Keanu
just saw
Reeves.
that he's coming to the factory soon with Dogstar.
What about Tom Cruise?
No, it's Scientology.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I
And-
forgot about that part.
But he's doing a good job then.
Oh, forgot he's part of a cult. Never mind. Carry on.
Ooh, the Scientologist is gonna be mad at you.
All of our Scientologist listeners
Both
just
of them.
tuned out.
Just know,
Annie, we're
know
doing
that
you
I
proud.
have no mental health concerns.
So they said their last name is Tag and just got off the plane last night. Did you hear about Dolly Parton then? That's a good question. Back to the YouTube live chat poll. We've been asking you all day. Should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy? Brad, you can answer first.
Yeah, I think about this, and it's a yes. Yeah, they should absolutely. Take all your things into consideration. I'm not saying you have to. If you don't want to say anything, don't say anything. But it's your voice. It's your platform. You've earned it. Say it. But also, if you say something dumb and people come after you, they have the right to come after you too. You don't get to throw poo over the fence and then get mad when it gets thrown back at you.
You don't get to throw Ryan over the fence.
That's the second time this hour. Ethan, what do you say about this? Celebrities.
I think it is a total FAFO situation where you have the right to say what you want, but know the risks that you're taking with it as well. Do you want to be remembered in a controversial perspective, or do you want to be remembered like Dolly Parton?
So are you a yes or a no?
I lean towards
Yes,
yes,
but not political?
just be prepared.
Yes. I'm a yes too, oddly, and for a reason that's not yours, not because I'm just like, oh, free speech, do whatever you want, and whatever you say, you're going to deal with the ramifications. But I actually love it and hope to hear it from Christian celebrities. When they come out and they share their faith, sometimes it'll delve into modern political issues, sometimes it won't, but I'm all for that. All right, should celebrities use their platforms for advocacy? Yes, gets only 18%. Not political gets 39%. The winner is no. Mark Reardon coming up next.